for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Good evening. Fade to Black. Bespoke radio for the masses. Yeah. Today's Tuesday, August 9th, 2022. Duke Sullivan tonight. Let's do this, man. I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black. For KJCR, the Game Changer, and NX Networks, Race Hobbs. I am your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? How you doing? This is Squatch Week on Fade to Black. That's right. Squatch Week, and tonight we have very special guest Duke Sullivan of World Bigfoot Radio joins us for night 2. Tomorrow night, William Lunsford is with us, first-time guest, and he is with us for night 3. Squatch Week, and then Thursday's another Fader night with open lines all night long. All right. Man, I'm excited about tonight's show. Duke Sullivan is here. Coming up 1 week from tonight. 1 week from tonight, I will be in Studio City, California, just north of Los Angeles, just north of Beverly Hills. It's just right there. It's Los Angeles, but they call it Studio City. I will be speaking at UPARS, and you can get your tickets and info over at uparsla.org. There is information and links down below. I posted out, what do they call that? Meetup. I did a meetup link last week, but you can go to uparsla.org and get your tickets and information. There is only seating for 200, and I don't know what the RSVPs are up to right now, but it's creeping up there. It's going to sell out. So go and RSVP, get your name on that list, okay? Go and do it now at uparsla.org. It's going to be great. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm going to speak, and I'm going to do that. UPARS has been gone for 2 years, like everybody else. They are back. And so I am going to speak, but I'm also going to do, a little Fade to Black. I've got a couple of friends that are going to stop by that I'm going to pull up on stage and chat with, and that's going to be a little bit of a surprise. I don't want to give that away. You want to be able to show up and go, this is going to be cool. You want to do that. All right. I mean, wouldn't you just show up if it was me up there for 2.5, 3 hours? Oh, by the way, we're going to broadcast Fade to Black from there. Okay. So that will be the Fade to Black broadcast next Tuesday night is going to be live from UPARS. I don't know how we're going to do it. I guess, I know how we're going to do it. We're just going to hit go. I just don't know how. But it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. One wide shot camera of the stage, and whatever happens, happens, right? And that's what we're going to do. And we'll light up the airwaves for a couple hours in a very strange way. So that's going on a week from tonight in Los Angeles. So please come and hang out with us. And then coming up right after that, I am going to be traveling and doing stuff. You know, it's like a crazy year. But coming up a month after that, September 16th, I'll be out in Joshua Tree for a private sky watch. If you would like to see if you can get in on that, just go to forbiddenclub.com and mint 10 NFTs. This is a private event. This is a private situation. We're going to be at Joshua Tree for one night at the Joshua Tree Retreat Center. And you know where they had contact in the desert. And then one night we're going to be over in Giant Rock. So there you go. All right. And then coming up in October, of course, I'm going to be in Egypt. I'm going to be live streaming from there. That's going to be a lot of fun. And that's sold out. We've got 80 friends and Billy Carson. That's what it should be called. 80 friends and Billy Carson, right? So cool. You see Billy posting pictures. He winged it over to Switzerland to go and hang out with Eric Von Daniken at his house. And I'm like, man, Billy Carson's got it going on. Just going to wing it over. I heard after that he's going to go hang out with Mick Jagger and then come back. Billy Carson, what are you going to do? Get your free membership right now to the UNX Network at unxnetwork.com. It's free. So just go where you get the newsletter, you get the blogs, you get event notices, you get a free digital copy of their quarterly magazine, which is really nice, by the way. And all you've got to do is just go to unxnetwork.com. All right, where you're listening to me right now, maybe. If not, head over there. The links are down below. Just click on it. And also, Eden Pier let me know that their three-pack special is winding down. So you want to buy 3 right now and save $200 and get free shipping and kill viruses and make your house or home or rooms or car smell great. Smell just like it smells right after a thunderstorm. It's amazing. You can plug it in the wall. Here's mine, right? You can see it's lit up. It's running right now. You can't even hear it. The air conditioning that is on over there is louder than this. Plug it in the wall. I use the USB. And the reason why I use the USB, I could plug this in the wall, anywhere in here. But no, I want it so I can show it to you. And there you go. USB. And it sits right here next to me. Right here. It sits right there. Do you hear it? You don't. And it's right here. It's amazing. It's absolutely, oh man. I just can't believe it. So cool. The Thunderstorm 3-pack special. Promo code is Fader3. Links are below. It's limited. You need to go and get it right now. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Follow me on JChurchRadio. We're all here, Jimmy, and ready for the show. Okay, this looks like, let me look at this picture. That's awesome. I don't know what that is. Who painted that? And you got everything in this picture here. You got Bigfoot. You got the mantis being in the background. And who is that posing? It's pretty cool. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. The Sandbox is hashtag F2B on Twitter. I was just over hanging out in one of the chat rooms on YouTube, and everything is up and running. Look at my man, Ken Priest, posting this picture of Duke Sullivan out in the snow. And that's a great picture. I think Duke's got some Bigfoot DNA. I'm making a prediction here. I wonder if he's run his DNA. Probably won't let him. It's going to be Duke. We need to sit down. We need to talk. It seems that 50% of your ancestry It's something we don't know nothing about. Let me introduce you to the authorities from the Smithsonian Institution. They would like to have a talk with you. Yeah, Duke Sullivan is on with us tonight. It's going to be so cool. Do you see the picture? He had the, what is that? Wolverine. He had the Wolverine hand. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Follow me on Instagram at Jimmy Church Radio. Hashtag F2B is the sandbox right here on Twitter. Let's get to the crazy breaking news that we had all day today. The first up tonight, a horde, and I do mean a horde of priceless treasures have been recovered from a 350-year-old Spanish shipwreck. The Nuestra Señora de la Maravilla, or Our Lady of Wonders, sank in 1656 after it collided with another boat from its fleet and crashed into a coral reef right off of the Bahamas. The vessel was carrying a haul of treasure, some of which was recovered and reserved as a royal tax for King Philip IV from Cuba to Seville, Spain. The 891-ton ship contained more cargo than usual, as it had also been tasked with transporting treasure retrieved from another ship that had sunk 2 years earlier. Among the discoveries was listen to this. You see the picture. A 1.76 meter long, that's almost 6 feet, gold chain and several jeweled pendants that once belonged to Knights of the Order of Santiago. One of the gold pendants features a large oval Colombian emerald and a dozen smaller emeralds around it. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. 3 other knightly pendants were also discovered, including one shaped to look like a golden scallop shell. The items will be permanently housed at the Bahamas Maritime Museum, which coincidentally opened yesterday. That's right, yesterday, August 8th, in the Caribbean nation's second largest city, Freeport. You should see the pictures. I mean, all of it looks brand new. A woman became the first person with a complete spinal cord injury to swim the English Channel without a wetsuit. After being knocked off of her bike and paralyzed from the waist down, Paula Craig, MBE, marked the 21st anniversary of her accident by swimming the impressive stretch as part of a relay team. Craig, 59 years old, was one of 6 swimmers who set off from Dover, England to France at 2:48 a.m. Last week on August 4th, covering 21 miles in a total of 14 hours and 3 minutes. Each individual swam for an hour in rotation until they arrived in France, with Craig taking on 2-hour-long swims. 60-hour-long. Can you swim? Can you swim for 6 minutes? You can't. You can't. Don't say that you can. You're out of shape. Think about that. 60 minutes. Two legs in the relay. That's incredible in the English Channel without a wetsuit. That's absolutely incredible. And man, I applaud. I applaud her. I'm blown away. Paula, you are amazing. All right. During a news briefing, now there's hope for me. I'm 58 years old. I'm 58. There's hope. Because during a briefing at the Johnson Space Center this past Friday, a NASA official revealed that all active NASA astronauts are eligible to take part in the Artemis moon program, regardless of age. That's right. You can be over 60 and go to the moon. In December 2021, NASA selected its most recent class of astronaut candidates who began their 2-year training in January of this year, 2022. After completing their training, the candidates will be assigned a mission, which could now include the Artemis missions to the moon. NASA is currently gearing up for the inaugural launch of Artemis 1, which could happen as soon as August 29th, in 2 weeks later this month. A Space Launch System rocket is slated to send an uncrewed Orion capsule, on a 272,000-mile journey to the moon and back. Artemis 2 will include a crew, but won't land on the moon. Remind you a little bit of Apollo, right? That's the job of the Artemis 3 crew, reaching the lunar surface after more than 50 years. The Artemis program is designed to maintain a regular astronaut presence at and on and around the moon. So it's likely that many more astronauts will be added to this list in the future. Over 60. That's right. Planning on retiring? No. I'm going to go to the moon. Heat waves sweeping Europe this summer have brought not just record high temperatures and scorched fields. The drought-stricken waters of Italy's River Po are running so low that they revealed a submerged World War II bomb. Military experts defused and carried out a controlled explosion on Sunday of the 1,000-pound bomb, which was discovered on July 25th near the northern village of Borgo Vergio, close to the city of Mantua. Well, they're finding bombs in Italy. Over here, we just find dead bodies. Interesting, right? Astronomers are planning a fishing trip. That's right. To land an extraterrestrial interstellar object that is right here on Earth. A small something from another star system that crashed into the Pacific Ocean. The team from Harvard University and headed by Avi Loeb hopes to find fragments of this interstellar rock known as CNEOS 2014-0108, which slammed into the Earth on January 8th, 2014. There you go. Let's get this show cracking on this day in history. 1988. Edmonton Oilers center Wayne Gretzky. Let me start that over. 1988. Edmonton Oilers center Wayne Gretzky is traded to the Los Angeles Kings. Canada has never recovered or forgotten. That's right. That's right. You know, you're an American, you're from the U.S., you go travel to Canada and you find out you're at a restaurant. Waiter comes over, taking the order, and they hear your accent. Oh, you're from the States. I am. And that's it. It's just all downhill after that. Because I guarantee it, him or her, doesn't matter, has a Wayne Gretzky poster at home. That's right. They have not forgotten. And that was 1988. Here's your fader fact. I kid. Maybe not. Maybe not. Fader fact. In 2016, there's a guy, his name's David Tepper. You ever heard that name, David Tepper? Right? Well, check this out. David Tepper, who was the richest person in New Jersey, moved to Florida and put the entire state budget of New Jersey at risk. 40% of the state's revenue comes from personal income tax, a third of which is collected from less than 1% of taxpayers. Tepper was New Jersey's wealthiest resident, paying $140 million a year. And that, David Tepper. And he lives in Florida. That's right. It's like, who's David Tepper? He was the richest man in New Jersey. He was richer than Tony Soprano. All right. Tonight, very special guest. This is Squatch Week here on Fade to Black. And last night I did my little Bigfoot special. It was a lot of fun. And it was weird. Last night I took out stuff, and there was stuff that I didn't do, thinking I was going to run out of time and stuff. So I did, a certain preset, and I slammed through it. And I got it done in 2 hours. I thought it was going to be 3 hours, and I was trying to cram in to 2.5. But, I was just yapping too fast and I was excited and things. But that's what I did last night. And I had a lot of fun doing it. And I know for a lot of you Bigfoot fans out there and researchers and things, probably watched the show last night. As comprehensive as it was and as much information was there, I left stuff out. And that's how big the subject is. Well, tonight it continues here on Squatch Week. Tonight is night 2, and we have Duke Sullivan here from World Bigfoot Radio. And tomorrow night, William Lunsford is with us. Very excited about tomorrow night's show, too, because William is a first-time guest, and he has been researching Bigfoot for over 45 years. Lots of contact and sightings. And we're going to go through a lot of that tomorrow night for night 3 of Squatch Week. Thursday is another fader night with open lines all night long. All right. Now it's time for me to hit this River Moon coffee. It's the best coffee in the world. Man. When we have Duke on, check out Duke's coffee mug. He don't play. I brewed a big old pot of extra strength so I can get through the show tonight with Duke. There's going to be a lot of information. So there you go. All right, rivermoonwellness.com. Click on the links below. The promo code is F2B Blend. And there you go. All right. Where am I at? It is... I'm a very busy person, and I need to be able to decompress and take a break from things. I work probably on average there's 24 hours in the day, so I sleep 4 to 6 hours. So I'm working around 18 hours a day every single day. I think that's no, that's not true. I'm working maybe 14 hours a day. Right. And so I try to watch movies and TV and take a break and do stuff I like. I'm always working on guitars and, I'm doing stuff and, whatever, cleaning the house, doing laundry. And I've always got the TV on. And I've compiled a list of things that I'm watching right now and things that I've just finished. But I want to remind everybody of a few things because tomorrow night, Wednesday, is the start of the new season of Resident Alien. And that is streaming on Peacock. No spoilers here. But if you remember the last show of the last season, which was at season 2, this is season 3. Season 2 was the party in the cabin, right? And you know how that ended. So that picks up tomorrow night. For All Mankind, one of the great TV series that I have ever seen. It's incredible. It's on Apple TV. Its season finale is this Friday. And they're on Mars right now. I don't want to give anything else away. If you haven't watched For All Mankind, go and do it now. The final episode in the series finale of Better Call Saul is this Monday, August 16th. After the show last night, I watched episode 11. I'm just in a holy crap moment, but this is the end of everything. This is the end of everything on Monday, August 15th. Now, I also managed to binge and finish The Sandman on Netflix over the weekend. Superb. It's awesome. I got it done because they weren't full hour episodes. They were between 30 and 45 minutes each. But wow, incredible. Go and check it out. All of it. It was just great. And I really enjoyed The Old Man with Jeff Bridges. I finished that last week. It seemed a little bit too short, though, and no real ending at the end of the season of only 7 episodes. I had to go back and check. Yeah, that's it. Only 7 episodes, but they've signed up on Hulu for a second season. I'm still in the middle of, like all of us, of Only Murders in the Building, but it's a great second season. Again, that's on Hulu. And also on Hulu is The Orville, New Horizons Season 3. And that just wrapped with episode 10. And I really enjoyed it too. I did. It was okay. It was good. It was good. Was it great? Well, it is great, but it didn't elevate like it did in season 1 and going into season 2. Season 3, it's just kind of equal to season 2. Oh, watch it. It's great. It's amazing. But there you go. I'll just say this. I enjoyed it. Go and watch it. But I'm going to tell you what my guilty pleasure is. All right? Now just listen to me. Blood and Treasure. That's it. I said it. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen it, go and check it out. But it's pretty awesome. It's on Paramount Plus. But here's the thing. Sometimes you just need good, clean fun. You don't need special effects. You don't need blood and guts. You don't need ghosts. You don't need horror. You don't need this. You don't need murder. You don't need this. You don't need all of that. Maybe you just need some good, clean family entertainment. And Blood and Treasure is that. It's so innocent. It's great. It's great. It's great. I dig it. It's great script writing. And it's all about, seeking out treasure, traveling the world. It's a lot of fun, but it's just so pure. It's so pure. Oh, have you seen, before I get to the break, it took me a while. I was a little late to the party, but I spent a big chunk of this year in between the action watching Parks and Recreation and 7 seasons. And I got it all done. I wrapped it a couple of weeks ago, and I was kind of bummed out to reach the end of Parks and Recreation. I really, really got into the series, and I got to tell you, when I grow up, I want to be Ron Swanson. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Duke Sullivan, right after the break, is here. He is the host of World Bigfoot Radio. That's because it's Squatch Week here on Fade to Black, and tonight is night 2. That's right. On the Game Changer and UNX Networks, this is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this short break.
This is Nicole Church, daughter of you-know-who, and you're listening to Fade to Black on JimmyChurchRadio.com and the Game Changer Network.
You're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the X.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net.
When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black Blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today.
This is the only way forward.
This is Fade to Black. Make contact.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can get our podcast for just $2 per month. All you have to do is click on the podcast banner over at jimmychurchradio.com. Hello, Fadernauts. Jimmy Church here. You've seen me with my thunderstorm. Now you can purify the air in your home and get healthy, clean, fresh-smelling air and eliminate odors just like I do right here in the bunker. The Eden Pier Thunderstorm uses oxy technology that naturally sends out O3 molecules into the air, which seek out odors and air pollutants in your home and destroys them. It's called a thunderstorm because it purifies the air just like after a thunderstorm. And right now, you can save $200 on an Eden Pier Thunderstorm 3-pack for whole home protection. With this special offer, you're getting 3 units for under $200. Seriously. Go to EdenPureDeals.com and use Fader3. Shipping is free and it's easy. Just scroll down. You'll see my name right there, Jimmy Church. Click on it and get your deal today. That's EdenPureDeals.com.
Do you have an interest in the paranormal? Then you'll love the UnXNetwork.com. The X is your streaming audio and video for everything supernatural, strange, and mysterious, like UFOs, Bigfoot, ghosts, and so much more. From hosts like Jimmy Church, Whitley Strieber, Micah Hanks, and Christina Gomez. Visit the UnXNetwork.com show page for a complete list of all the paranormal programs you'll find on the X. Be sure to follow us on Twitter for updates at KUNXDB. Follow our Facebook group, UnX Network. Find the podcast on Spotify, iHeart, Audible, and Apple Podcast. It's time.
It's new.
It's the X.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. It's Squatch Week. That's right, Squatch Week here on Fade to Black. Tonight is night 2. Duke Sullivan of World Bigfoot Radio joins us. It's going to be a great show. Duke Sullivan. Duke, what can you say? Bigfoot researcher from Montana. Saw his first Bigfoot in 1972 when he was just 10 years old. Spent researching Bigfoot for well over 40 years, multiple sightings. And he is also an extremely well-versed and self-described conspiracy theorist. And has collaborated with Wes Germer from Sasquatch Chronicles on programs such as Duke's Conspiracy Corner. His YouTube channel is linked below. It's over on our website. We have it in social media. And I would like to welcome back to Fade to Black, the one, the only, Duke Sullivan. What's up, my man? Duke, you're muted. You got to unmute your mic.
I know. I didn't want you guys to hear background noise of doors slamming and stuff while I was getting into position. How's everybody doing? Hey, Jimmy.
How you doing, Duke?
I'm doing good. Just happy and thrilled to be here again with the paranormal host with the most, Jimmy Church.
Hey, I was, kind of cracking jokes a little bit, but I say it in jest. But sometimes, you know how you'll see somebody walking their dog, and you'll go up and you'll say hi to the dog, and then you'll look at the owner and you'll say, "How long have you had the dog?" 15 years. And then you kind of look at the dog, you look at the owner, and they look alike.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You're kind of looking like Bigfoot, man.
Yeah. It's part of the disguise. Instead of wearing camo or anything, which doesn't fool them, you just look like one of them, and they're like, "Oh, it must be a midget." They start following you around all the time.
Oh man, it's kind of funny, man. It's kind of funny. But this is great, and I want to take this opportunity, Duke, if I may. This week is your doing. I think anybody that was listening to the show last week, you had just called in, to say hello, and the next thing,
my fault.
Yeah, the next thing you know, we're booking Sasquatch Week this week, and I was so excited for the idea and the opportunity to go and do that, because so I just want to thank you for that. And the Bigfoot community is so large, and we would like to think that the UFO community is big, or the dreams community, or I've got a sneeze coming on, so be prepared for that. I will hit the cough button, but the Bigfoot community dwarfs all of our communities probably combined, and it is something that just absolutely fascinates me. And what it gave me the opportunity to do, this is a lengthy way of thanking you, because it also gave me the opportunity last night to do a presentation and get some of this stuff out of my head and out into the airwaves that I've been researching and looking into and been fascinated with for many, many years. And like you and I are the same age. I've been chasing this Bigfoot story and phenomena for 40, almost 50 years, and it's just amazing. So I want to thank you for the idea and for this week, and there you go. All right, so welcome back to the program. And how many? Let's kind of start here for a second. Because you live in Montana and you've got World Bigfoot Radio, and this is what you do. How many times a month do you go out squatching? Every month, every week? How often do you do it?
Totally varies. 2015, I spent 176 nights in the field, and some years I hardly get a chance to get out there at all. This year's a good example of that. Gas prices are horrendous. Most of my team can't afford to go anywhere. My vehicle's currently broken down. So until next week when I can get working vehicle, I've only managed to get out there 3 times this year. So it was terrible. Usually I'm out there every weekend.
What's wrong with your vehicle?
Transmission.
Do you need our help?
Well, I'm on disability and my channel is not a paid channel, so I haven't got a whole lot of extra money to throw around. So yeah, if somebody wants to help, that would be nice.
All right. We'll get that together for you. I'll throw that over to the chat room. Let's you see that? I'll get it. Let's go. Let's get Duke hooked up. All right. Any donations to the show tonight, I'll send directly to Duke. And there you go. You got a PayPal, right, Duke?
Yep. World PayPal me at World Bigfoot Central.
Okay. So give that to me again. Let's do this live on the air. We'll have that transmission fixed by tomorrow night. Okay. What is the email for PayPal? Go ahead. Give it to me again.
It's paypal.me/World Bigfoot Central, all one word.
Okay. PayPal dot or slash, you said?
.me.
Uh-huh.
/World Bigfoot Central.
World Bigfoot Central. Okay, so I can do this right off of my PayPal, right? That's all I have to punch in. Okay, so there you go. See, the donations are coming in. So we've got 5, There's 20. I'll keep a tally. I'll do this right after the show tonight. I can't do it during the show because I can't do two things at one time.
Let's talk about Bigfoot anyway.
Yes.
That's what I want to talk about. I got to make a shout out to some of the amazing people that are in the chat room right now, which there's a lot of them. And thanks all my followers for being here and supporting us. And there's some heavy hitters in the chat room right now. You got some of the best Bigfoot researchers on the planet hanging out right now. Robin McRae, Blaine Tyler, Stephen Hill. I see Christy Sci-Fi is in there. Yeah.
Okay.
William's probably going to be trotting in here shortly too, your guest for tomorrow.
Look at this. The donations are coming in. Okay. All right. Everything that comes in tonight on tonight's show goes straight to Duke. And I'll match whatever comes in. I will match. $1,000 comes in, I'll match it.
Thanks,
okay?
Jimmy.
Are you listening to me? I'll match it. And I'm stuck now. I just said it live on the air, dude. I'm stuck. And it's all for a good cause. Okay. So everybody, I'll match it. I will match it. And I'm trying to keep up now, man. Look at this. This is cool.
Yeah, honestly, I've just been fighting all summer long trying to get out in the field as much as I can because it's an active year up here. Every time I get to go out, something's happening. So I would live out there. If I could afford it, I would live out there during the summer. I'd come into town once a week to post a video, and I'd go back out again.
Look at Ken Priest just kicked in 100 bones.
Wow, thanks, Ken.
Angelo. I can't keep this. Okay. You know what did I say earlier tonight before the show to you? It's the life you chose, right? You remember?
Yeah.
And
what I didn't point out at that point though is that even though I'm not nearly as busy as you are, I don't actually get paid for doing anything. And that becomes a problem when people are like, Duke, why aren't you out in the field for filming more field videos? Well, no working vehicle, gas is expensive, and the vehicle doesn't work anyway.
Right. Well, we'll take care of all of that. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
No, you're the best, man. You're the best. This is, man, look at this. This is what I'm talking about, Duke. You know, this is what families look. I'm supposed to be conducting an interview. Instead, I'm tallying numbers. Because I gotta match the dosh. I gotta match the ducks quacking in the pond. And this is pretty cool, though. I really appreciate it. And thank you, Monica. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Sugar Britches. That is the coolest name out there. Sugar Britches.
Yeah, I call her Sugar B for short, which also works. Sugar B.
Sugar Britches. Again, everybody, I'll match with any. Look, I got tears. This is amazing. I love it. I'll match anything that is done, and I will PayPal Duke. Christy just reminded me it's up to $225. There you go.
Wow.
All right. See? Oh man, it's still coming in. Duke, you sent me a video. Well, you sent me two. Is it okay if I play a part of this video? It's 35 minutes long. I just want to play like 30 seconds of it. Is that?
You're talking about the video of the Sasquatch tracks filmed in Alaska.
Yeah, filmed in Alaska.
Yeah. Yep. You have my permission.
Okay.
YouTube, listen up. He has my permission.
Okay, so here we go. There's 100 that just came in. Okay, and there's another 10 and another 10. Wow, Duke, this is happening. This is happening, man.
I didn't expect this to be a telethon. Jimmy, I got to catch your whole presentation last night, and you did a really excellent job on researching all of this stuff, gave all of it a fair shake, looked at both sides of it. There's one thing about the Patterson Gimlin film, and that several people, including one of the people that's in chat right now, Blaine Tyler, have actually spotted and pointed out additional Sasquatch in that video. And recently there's been other people that have done so. And not very long ago, I had Richard Doty on my show talking about the fact that somebody has the original footage, which has 6 more seconds than the version the public is aware of. And during that additional 6 seconds, Roger repositions himself and gets the camera on a baby Sasquatch, a little toddler that's trying to run away, and gets like 6 seconds of that. And I could not mention the name at the time that I did the show. Now I have permission to. The person that actually has the video, which is up for sale, is Dr. Bruce Maccabee.
Maccabee's got it?
Yep.
Huh. The original two, okay. Not to go off sideways into the Patterson Gimlin film, but the original 2 reels, the originals, right? That the 2 reels of film are missing, and nobody knows where they are. And they have been, the last time anybody saw them physically was 1980. And then in 1996, during the bankruptcy stuff, the company Century West had their film vault out here in Southern California in Los Angeles. And it had a library number, and it was not there. It was simply gone. So it disappeared somewhere between 1980 and 1996. And nobody knows where it's at. Now, fortunately, 2 copies were made, but they're copies, direct prints from the original reels. But the original reels themselves, which would be the best version of the films, nobody knows where they are at. So when you say Bruce Maccabee has them, he's got?
Bruce Maccabee has a copy of the original, and so do the Russians. At one point, shortly after this started being popular and presented, Rene DeHinden horned in and tried to grab control of it, which he did through the aid of Bob Gimlin, who, interestingly, at that point had wanted absolutely nothing to do with the video. Why he would bother to fight over the rights to it after Roger died when he wanted nothing to do with it is peculiar. And then when he finally did win the rights to it, he immediately sold it to DeHinden for like $10.
Wow.
And then DeHinden went to Russia and sold them the original and got a copy of that, which he brought back and did some selected cutting on and released pieces for people to use, et cetera, for quite a while. Now, apparently, at some point, Roger had made a copy of it that he gave to Dr. Bruce Maccabee because he wanted Bruce to do analysis on it, and he didn't have any money to give him at the time. And he said, you got the original one here that's got additional video I'm not going to release right now. So, at some point, that'll be worth a lot, too.
Well, the Cinechrome high-res scans that are out there, and they're hard to find, by the way. People just don't want to let go of that stuff. I presented some of it last night during the show. There's copyright issues, and I didn't want to get involved in all of that. But that was all Renee's doing. He did the high-res Cinechrome stuff when he got, which was really strange for him to get the permission legally to have this released from the film vault, but they actually allowed him to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's a great breakdown of the whole thing of the stabilized and whatnot version done by special effects artist Bill Munns, who's one of the actually current awesome special effects guys that took a look at this thing and then went frame by frame, took a picture of each one, stabilized it, and that's where the beautiful version we've got nowadays that's all stabilized came from. Mm-hmm. And he did a lot of research on it and how tall everything was and how far she was walking, how fast she was going. And Thinker Thunker on his channel has pointed this out too. Roger wasn't a very big guy, he was like 5'4", 5'5". And Patty is walking away from him, and Roger is running, trying to keep up to her, and he's losing ground. She's just walking.
Yeah, and there's the other question of film speed and how, which also, because I've watched it at different speeds, and when you see it at the faster speeds, Patty looks more human. It's weird when it's
exactly. And they show a lot of those clips are at the wrong speed. When you see it at the right speed, And then again, when you look at the like stabilized, nice clear version that Bill Munns did, you can see the muscles moving underneath the skin, and it's like that's not a costume, obviously.
Right.
And the other thing that tells you it's not a costume is one of the things that, again, my hat's off, shout out to Thinker Thunker. He's got a great channel, go sub him. He's pointed this out, and several other people I know have also noticed it. Body proportion is different. It doesn't matter how good the Bigfoot suit looks. Their body proportion is different than a human's is. A Bigfoot's arms and legs are exactly the same length, and a human's arms are 17% shorter than their legs are. So unless you've got some weird way of breaking somebody's arms so their elbows are in a different position, or making an extra long extensible forearm and hand, which I guess would be doable, but again, the elbow would be in the wrong position, so that'd be a dead giveaway. So any of these where you can see the Bigfoot walking clearly, you can look at the body proportion on the arms and the legs, and that alone will tell you if you're looking at what could be a Sasquatch or if it's just a guy in a monkey suit.
Well, for me, and I pointed this out last night, and then when we come back after the break, we're going to get to this amazing footage that was just shot up in Alaska. It is truly incredible. But I pointed this out last night on the show, and it's worth repeating because you just said it here, that there are too many different versions of people that say that they made the costume for Patterson, right? And right now, there's at least 4, right, that have tried to come forward, and 2 here in Los Angeles. Another person said that I don't want to name names here, but somebody said, well, I was part of the crew, and I'm here to tell you that Roger Patterson made it out of horse hide and that it stunk. Wait a minute. Horse hide, you know how thick, and what we're talking about here. And so how would it be possible to have the muscles flex through horsehide? It wouldn't happen. So, and all 4 can't be telling the truth, right? 3 out of the 4 are lying if it was a costume. And that's the part about this that bothers me the most, that people are going to out and out lie and make stuff up when it comes to this film, just to discredit somebody, and also for their own ego to make them part of the story.
And they get their 15 minutes of fame when it blows up and goes viral and everybody pays attention to them, and then they get debunked and oh well, it's over. The guys that supposedly were in the Bigfoot suit, first of all, where's the Bigfoot suit? And secondly, they seem to forget that we've got tracks and track casts, and they brought people back that looked at that area while those tracks were still there and checked the soil and the whole thing and made estimates on how much weight it would take to make those indentations in the ground, which we have the thing on video making, keep in mind, and the distance of the step and all of that sort of thing, which points to she weighed around 700 pounds. Because that's how much weight it takes to impress that creek bed gravel that far, as was present in the tracks that were still there when they showed up again. And the other thing to keep in mind here is that you can scale her based on how big her tracks are. Since we have track casts of her tracks, and that one scene you guys were talking about last night, where you can see the back of her foot, you can see the Ostman pad, and you can see clearly how big her foot is in proportion to how big her body is. So all you have to do is say, okay, her foot's 15 inches long. There's the bottom of the foot. You make your little imaginary ruler on your computer screen, and then you go from the bottom all the way to the top. And that's how tall she is.
Yeah, when you go and you look at, and I presented the high-res scans of somebody standing in the track right after this, next to the fallen, tree in the creek bed, and you see the height of them, and then you just go right back and you look at the film, and she's big.
Yeah,
big. She's wide and tall, and to see how skinny the dude is in the picture.
Yeah.
Back and you look at Patty. Patty's like,
that's right. And this is shortly after it happened, so they did line him up in exactly the same spot. Camera in exactly the same spot, and he was holding this big, long ruler. I guess you would say it's one of the old-fashioned wooden ones.
Yeah,
and he's 6'3". And she, according to this measurement, she's around 7 feet again, which is what everybody keeps coming up with, 7 feet or better. And yeah, she's about like what, 3-4 times as wide as he is.
Just ginormous. I mean, really big. And I was flipping back and forth between those shots, prepping for the show over the weekend, and just going back and lining it up because I can, do that. And I'm flipping back and forth, and I got everything in the same proportion. I'm talking about the fallen tree in the background, and she just takes up the whole image. He's just a little tiny dude. Mm-hmm. And like you said, he was over 6 foot tall. So, but again, as we head into the break here, for me, it's her boobs, her breasts swinging very naturally, and the muscles and how the muscles flex. Forget about everything else: the head turning, the neck, the arms, the gait. Okay, that's all great. But for my eyes, for me to see that I'm seeing something real, it's those two natural things that are happening: the flexing muscles and the way that her boobs, her breasts are swinging in the breeze. And it's a very natural thing that my eyes are going, well, that is what it is.
Yeah. In 1967, could they even make realistic silicone breasts that looked that good? I don't think so. These guys are not only incredible costume makers, and they got a friend that's 7 feet tall, but they were like way ahead of the curve on, fixing mastectomy issues and making silicone boobs way before anybody else knew how to do it, apparently.
Yeah. Horsehide boobs.
Yeah. Yeah, and the other thing is, the Roger, it's sad that he died and didn't get a chance to stick around longer than to the early 70s, but Bob Gimlin's still very much with us, and I've got to meet him and talk to him and whatnot. And his details on this account stay the same every single time, over and over and over. And one of the things he mentioned is that, as cool as it is that Roger managed to get that video after it happened, he asked Roger if he got anything, and Roger said, "I'm not sure." He was so busy running, falling down, trying to reposition. He could barely see through that little lens on the camera to tell if the camera was getting what he was seeing.
Right.
And, all this happened so fast. It wasn't until they actually developed the film that he saw that he had gotten something. And meanwhile, when Roger got thrown off his horse and the horse ran away, and he he grabbed the camera as the horse was taken off out of the saddle pack and tried to position himself and start filming, he was scared something was going to happen because they knew there was more than one Sasquatch around there. They had found the tracks, and his horse just took off with his rifle. The only thing there to protect him at that point is Gimlin with his saddle holstered rifle. So he said, "Cover me, Bob." And Bob rode the horse across the river and pulled the saddle rifle out. And that's where Patty turns and looks. She's not looking at Roger. She's looking at Bob, because he's now closer to her, and he just pulled his rifle out. And there's some anomalies about how she does this that eminent scientist Dr. Grover Krantz pointed out, that she can't turn her head around like a human because her shoulders are built differently and her jaw runs into her shoulder. So she has to turn her at the waist and turn her whole lower body in order to turn around and look at Bob as she's walking away, which is why she's in that weird position. Again, one of the weird things about their body dynamics that aren't the same as humans.
Right. And okay, here's the thing. We're going to take a break. I've got to get this in. We're up to $420 for Duke. And so I will be matching all the donations tonight. Right now, we're at $420. Thanks, Duke. I'm broke. I went shopping today at the supermarket. That already put me into shock. And now tonight, I get to match the donations. Everything that comes in tonight, Bill, keep track of it. I'm trying to keep track here. But Bill, keep track and let me know, and I will send the money directly to Duke right after the show tonight. Everything will be matched by me. How big can it get? How much of a dent do you want me to put in my wallet? Well, show me. Okay, I'll put up.
God bless you guys. Thanks, Jimmy.
So let's take our break right here. This is Fade to Black tonight. Duke Sullivan is with us. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. It is Squatch Week, Night 2, with Duke Sullivan of World Bigfoot Radio. My man. I'll be right back after this short break. Stay with us. You guys are amazing. Keep it going. Let's see. I want you to just make my wallet painful. Make it scream. I'll be right back.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network.
Your 1 million gigawatt paranormal powerhouse, KUNX-DB, VX.
Hello, Fadernauts. Jimmy Church here. You've seen me with my thunderstorm. Now you can purify the air in your home and get healthy, clean, fresh-smelling air and eliminate odors just like I do right here in the bunker. The Eden Pure Thunderstorm uses oxy technology that naturally sends out O3 molecules into the air, which seek out odors and air pollutants in your home and destroys them. It's called a thunderstorm because it purifies the air just like after a thunderstorm. And right now, you can save $200 on an Eden Pure Thunderstorm 3-pack for whole home protection. With this special offer, you're getting 3 units for under $200. Seriously. Go to EdenPureDeals.com and use Fader3. Shipping is free and it's easy. Just scroll down. You'll see my name right there, Jimmy Church. Click on it and get your deal today. That's EdenPureDeals.com.
This is Billy Carson, founder and CEO of ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv is the fastest growing and one of the most watched networks in the world. And I would like to personally invite you to check out our expanding library of TV, film, lectures, and special presentations. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv has over 6,000 videos covering lost history, health, UFOs, spirituality, and our future. We are committed to our community, and with my personal invitation, you can right now get your own free 30-day membership at ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Your own library of information starts today at ForbiddenKnowledge.tv.
Because you never got that pony you always wanted. Damn it. Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network.
Listen, I know, and you know, that you've always wanted your first crystal skull. Or maybe you're a collector just like me, but you just don't know where to go to find the real thing. Then I met Carolyn Ford over at EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com. Carolyn is the guardian of Einstein, one of the most respected ancient crystal skulls in the world. All of her unique skulls have been imprinted sitting with Einstein in his sacred lodge and are carved from the finest gemstone and materials. Imprinting is the process of receiving the ancient wisdom from the master skull or master computer, Einstein, the ancient crystal skull. To see Carolyn's current collection of crystal skulls, just visit her store at EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com or click on the banner over on our site. Don't forget to use the promo code Jimmy at checkout to receive 10% off of your order today. That's promo code Jimmy. Finding your first or next crystal skull is easy. Just visit EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier, and this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. We're of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier, and I'm Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers, and you're listening to Jimmy Church. The Revolution.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can become an official Fadernaut by just going to our membership section at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Hello, this is Serena Wright-Taylor from Conscious Life Expo, and you're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church, who holds the Lucky Pony record for the best astrological chart since 1963. True story.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Squatch Week, Night 2. Duke Sullivan is here of World Bigfoot Radio. And now I want to let everybody know what's going on. All right? I had said, Duke mentioned he's got to get his transmission fixed on his truck, that he hasn't been able to go out squatching. I said, hey, we'll take care of that. We'll make sure that happens. So I will match all donations tonight. Everything that comes in will go directly to Duke after the show tonight. I will PayPal him whatever comes in tonight, and I will match it. All right? Now, this is public. Everybody can watch the tally happen. And then Duke is going to get on World Bigfoot Radio and call me out. Either his PayPal is there or it is not. So I want you to make my wallet hurt. I want you to make my wallet scream in pain. And check this out, Duke. I got to scroll back here. Hold on. So check this out. Give it till it hurts. Hold on. Jimmy said, let's make it hurt.
Oh, God. I don't want everybody to bankrupt you, Jimmy. Please.
We're going to make it happen, Duke. We're going to make it happen, man. And that's what the community is all about, okay? And we've done this from time to time, and I love it when it happens. So I will match everything that comes in tonight. And hold on for a second. What is this? Hold on. What's this? Let's see. Faded Black Radio. I sent to Duke via PayPal directly. You'll need to match my 150. Oh, he sent it directly to you, Duke. Okay.
Sweet. Thanks, Richard.
All right, Richard. Now, Richard, Duke confirms that with me. Thank you for that. I'll match it. If Duke says, yeah, it's right here, I'll match it. See, man, I'm going to be broke.
I'll have to look at that in a break.
I'm going to have to sell a guitar. Sell a guitar.
No.
Now, Duke, last night on the show, I did a big section of footprints in the Himalayas, with Yeti. And yeah, I think the Indian Army or the military did an expedition up there and back in 2021 and took these photographs and it that went pretty viral, right? And those were huge. Some of the
32 by 17 inches. And there was about 20 different TV shows that covered that around India and the region around there. And it even got on some British and American, B string stuff. The mainstream didn't really want to talk about it, of course. And some of the locals were chiding and castigating the Indian Army for being honest and showing what they found. And they put it on Twitter, and Twitter freaked out. And they've never retracted, and they issued no apologies whatsoever. They said, hey, we were up there to climb Makalu, and we found these while we were on our way up. We filmed them. We measured the distance between. We measured how long they are. You guys figure it out. We're here to do a job.
Yeah, I went through. There's a lot of images of what they took on the net, and you can see the human footprints. Right, the path that they're on, going this way, and the Yeti crossing it and going up, and the human footprints are these little
skinny little dots that are all right next to each other because of the depth of the snow.
Yeah,
well, they were going up. They went up that ridge line, and when they got basically far enough up to see it, something already went across this horizontally. What the hell was that? And then, of course, when they crossed the tracks, they started looking at these tracks going, what the hell is that? So they actually stopped and took the time to film all of it. And they've got their equipment there and everything. So you can see pictures of, this is a really steep, it's a mountain slope. and they're like clinging to the sides, almost standing straight up and down. And the tracks they're checking out are like right in front of their waist because it's so steep. And this thing just walked right across the edge of this incline, leaving these Titanic 32 by 17-inch tracks.
It looked like a friggin' T-Rex.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes you wonder if it was even a Yeti, if it was some kind of a giant. They got the giant of Kandahar and stuff over in that area too. So
now see what you've done. Bill just said, I have a Porsche that needs an engine. The Land Cruiser in need of a trainee, and a Jeep with a bricked, I guess that's broked, electrical system. And so there you go. I'm going to do a car night on Fade to Black. Okay, let's go.
Getting back to Patterson-Gimlin for a second, there was recently a TV show,
yes,
which, by the way, is all scripted and is not real, where they did supposedly a breakdown of Patty using the most modern technology of LiDAR and tried to scale her to a stump that was lying there in the river. The same stump, if you look at the original video, was already in the condition of rotting away 55 years ago. It's in a riverbed. There's been numerous floods there and other trees and stuff moving around. You really think it's the same stump still in the same position?
Mm-hmm.
And according to their scan, it isn't in the same position.
Right.
So that's complete malarkey. And like I already pointed out, you don't need these fancy scans to do this. You take the original video where Patty's walking away and she lifts her foot up, and you can see the length of the whole bottom of her foot. We know how long that is. Multiply up from the ground to the top of her head. That will give you a height around 7 feet and a couple inches.
I got a bunch of email today after last night's show, and people pointing out different things. And there was a lot of email today about the Gimlin, the Patterson-Gimlin film. And I got probably 3 that said pretty convincing research puts Patty closer to 8 feet, not 7. Have you looked at and heard about the same research putting up to around 8 feet?
Well, the thing they know for sure is because of the length of her foot and the apparent height of her in the same picture with foot showing.
Right.
She's over 7 feet tall. How far over is a little bit debatable because depth of field shouldn't give that much distortion in the actual scalability of her as far away as Roger was from her. Wasn't like he was right next to her,
Right.
So her foot, we know how long that was, and there it is connected to her body. Scale it up, and so obviously, like Dr. Jeff Meldrum would point out, the track is not the same as the foot. The foot can distort the ground and make it look completely different on the track than what the foot is if the foot slid around or something like that.
Right.
I just got an example of that on the 17th of last month. But the I'm sorry, I forgot where I was going with this again. No,
we were talking about the size of the height of
the height of it. Yeah, basically they know that according to that in the original pictures that they took right after the fact of the guy standing there holding the yardstick, and again they don't know that he was in exactly the right position, but he was probably within 2 or 3 feet of the right position. And according to that one, she was a little bit over 7 feet tall. See, and those measurements were taken when the place where it happened was still pristine, same condition as when it happened. The tracks were still there. They were already there measuring it, taking all these pictures and stuff. So anything they come up with nowadays, I mean, they've lost track of where that site was for what, Jimmy, 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
They finally figured it out again.
Right.
And where they were with their horses now is now a high embankment above where the river valley actually is because it's cut away so much. But the lower area that Patty was walking along right out in the middle of it has basically been flooded and washed away, rebuilt with different timber and stuff there so many times it doesn't look anything like the original anymore.
There is another. Okay, I know that we're talking about the Patterson-Gimlin film, and I've got this other video from Duke with these footprints from Alaska, and we're going to get to that. But going back to the film for a second, and talking about the print size, when you see in the second reel of film is Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin back at the site, and they are taking cast of the prints. And now that's interesting in of itself, but they don't look as large in the film like they do when they're holding up the cast. Now they're finally holding them up. And there's a shot that I showed last night of Roger Patterson's, his own foot next to Patty's foot. Patty's foot is easily twice as big as Patterson's foot.
Pat. Like again, keep in mind, Roger was a little guy. He was like 5'4" or something.
Yeah,
he didn't have a very big foot.
Right.
I'm sure my foot would look like a Bigfoot foot next to his foot too.
Let's get to this footage. And now I want to set this up for everybody. Last night, I showed a bunch of images from snow tracks in the Himalayas. This video was just shot in Alaska. So looking at this, knowing everything that I presented last night and the hundreds of images that I looked at to put the show together of different tracks in the snow, very compelling and great. Now, I've got one section. The video is 34 minutes long. So I am going to start it from here and tell us, you can talk over this. I've got the audio muted. Tell us what we're looking at here.
This is actually filmed down by a river system late at night on July 31st. Alaska's a land of the midnight sun. The sun isn't actually setting this time of year. So it's night there, but there's still enough light to film. And they're finding tracks of, these are juvenile tracks, Sasquatch in the mud, going out into the river. These are like cookie cutter perfect. And as you can see, they're these ones are littler than the two guys that are filming. They wouldn't have been able to pull their boots off and make this stuff. There's more than one individual. There's also no evidence of human tracks anywhere around there where they were faking these things. I know one of these guys, he's been on my show before about 2 years ago, and sort of the same thing happened. He randomly ran into these tracks, and he got to where he could get a phone signal, and he knows me. So he called me up and went, "Hey, Duke, I'm finding Bigfoot tracks up here." And I'm like, "Where are you at?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm out moose hunting with one of my friends, and we were out by this one area scouting for moose tracks, and we started finding these Bigfoot tracks." And I went, "Well, can you get some pictures? Do you have enough time on your moose tag?" And he went, "Well, yeah, the guy that's with me is kind of into Bigfoot too, so we can go do that tomorrow. We'll spend tomorrow filming all the tracks we could find." Okay. Well, they found so many tracks, they quit filming them because it was getting redundant. But one of the cool things they found was a brown bear track line, a good-sized brown bear, and there were two Bigfoot following it. One had a 16-inch footprint, and the other one had an 18-inch footprint.
Now, what do you make of? I paused it here because the big toe, right? And you could see the four other toes bunched together, and then you've got this ginormous big toe. Pretty amazing to me. But when you see this, what do you think?
That's fairly typical. I mean, keep in mind, they don't wear shoes, and shoes are what squish our toes together, so we don't have our toes splayed out very much. And they tend to use their big toe to grab onto things and whatnot. So the divergence in the hallux tends to be more prominent in some of their tracks than it is in an average human track. And now, can you go back a second to that when you were just showing?
Yeah.
Just like 2 seconds, maybe. Something else I want to point out. You can see there's more tracks. There's different individuals along this reel where it shows them. Again, you see this, the big toe kind of sticks out a little bit more.
Okay, here's where I was.
Now there's the track right next to it and above it. As it goes across that one,
yes,
that's what we want to take a look at.
Okay. I'll pause it right when it
gets there.
Yeah.
Something interesting I want to point out, and this is something that
right there.
Go. And let it roll forward. Now there's another one that shows the same thing. You guys will be able to see it in a second here. Okay, now hold on to that. Look at the middle of the foot. The heel and the toes are at the same depth, and there's a big hump in the middle of the foot.
That's right.
Keep in mind, all these other tracks you're seeing are flat-footed. They don't have any arch or instep on them. That's not human to start with. Most people aren't flat-footed. This thing actually has flexion in the middle of its foot. Humans absolutely don't have that. Sasquatch have a mid-tarsal joint in their foot. So they've got a joint where their toes are, then they've got another joint, then they've got actually where their upper leg connects to their foot, and then they've got their heel. So when they take steps, they leave this little round mound of dirt in the middle of the track because of the movement of their foot. And this is the thing that also helps them a lot when they're climbing or running across logs and stuff, because they can wrap that foot right around something that's curved.
This is it's pretty incredible footage. And
yeah, right at the beginning is my favorite part, where they've got the 22-inch tracks and they're trying to show you how big they are, the distance between them. That's impressive. You rarely find Bigfoot tracks that big. And one thing they didn't bring up, and he didn't show any video from it, is that when they found these tracks, the tracks proceeded to follow again a brown bear that must have gotten too close to the kids here. And his track started following the brown bear. So whether the brown bear ended up on the menu or had enough sense to run away, we don't know.
When I that's an incredible shot right there. When some of these are obviously bigger. I see what you're saying.
See the bulge in the middle there?
Yep.
Human tracks don't do that. You get an indentation on one side because we have an instep, but other than that, our foot comes down flat. It doesn't flex in the middle like that.
Right. And you can see it there too as well.
Yep.
When I had, let's go back to your point here. When I've only had one Bigfoot track, experience, and you and I have talked about this before. There were 4 prints.
Mm-hmm.
And what was interesting to me, now I'm not the biggest guy, but I'm 6 foot. Okay. And when I tried I didn't step in, the tracks themselves, but next to the tracks, and I tried to take a step, I didn't get halfway.
Yeah.
I didn't get, I went all the way out.
Jimmy, their weight is immense. I've seen that track that you found, and that's in hard ground, and it's just like cookie cutter squished into the ground. And there ain't no humans heavy enough to do that.
I'm talking about the space in between the steps.
And the space in between is huge.
I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. It's to fake it. I would think. I don't want to sound dickish here, but sometimes I can be that way. If you're going to hoax something and you've got a couple of Bigfoot feet on, right, and you're out in the mud, you're going to be taking your normal human steps, right? They're going to be close together. These were so far apart that it's impossible to do it. I couldn't do it, and I fell short. So how does that happen? It's not from a human, is what I'm suggesting here. It is what it is.
It is a different life form that is out there. And if you look at the tracks at the beginning of the video that we're talking about here, they show how far apart those things are. And it's like 6 or 8 feet between each foot coming down of this 22-inch track. So how big is he? Didn't look like he was running. His foot was coming down nice and flat.
Okay, so you said it's at the beginning of the video?
Yep, right at the very beginning of the video.
All right, let's do this. This is the front half. And is this the section of the film that you're talking about?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, he actually live streamed part of this, and at the beginning they couldn't get a signal, so he's just going around filming it. That's a track right there. There's the track at a little bit of an angle. He's going to point it out here. There's the toes. There's the heel that he's pointing out.
Right.
And then he goes around it. There's the toes. A little close up.
Oh, I see it. Right.
That's 22-inch track. Well, there's the other one.
Yeah.
That was the last step. This is very unnerving. And later on in the stream, they're filming all these little juvenile tracks down by the river. and they go back up to where their ATVs are, and they look in the tracks that their ATVs just left. There's that 22-incher there. And there had been Sasquatch walking in their ATV tracks since they stopped to walk down and film the Sasquatch tracks. At least one came walking up behind them, walked right in their ATV tracks, and then walked off to the left again.
Oh, look, we've got William Lunsford in the chat tonight. Hi, William. He just says William's going to be on with us tomorrow night. He says, my furthest distance I found is 7.5 feet, 7 foot 5 inches between. That's 7.5 feet, which is pretty close to, I think we measured 6 feet. Oh, that's hold on. Thank you for pointing that out, William. Now I remember. I laid down between the tracks, and it was 6 feet in between the tracks.
Big individual and very heavy. Well, while you're letting the rest of this beautiful video show, I want to point out that some of these tracks are fairly little. And me and Michael Matt on my team here up on Blue Mountain, we found not only knuckle prints and adult tracks, but we found a juvie track that was right next to the river. And it was about 10 inches long. Well, now my foot with the shoe on is 12 inches long, and Michael Matt's foot is about 13 and a half inches long. And I weighed at the time 240, and he weighed 275. Neither one of us could make any kind of impression on the ground right next to where that track was, even though that foot was substantially smaller than ours was. So you can just imagine the density, mass, and weight of these guys. Even when they leave a smaller footprint than an adult human, they probably weigh twice as much as we do.
Yeah, definitely. I'm, I sound like I'm in shape. I'm 6 foot. Now I'm down. I've lost some weight. I'm down to about 190 pounds. But, I'm 220, 210 pounds. And I wasn't making a dent in this dirt. And that's the part that really started to freak me out. You're looking at, first off, the size of the print, right? It's 20 inches long, but I'm sticking my finger in the ground in the video, and my whole finger is going into the ground, but I'm looking at my feet, and I'm not making a dent. I'm not even bending the grass, right? I'm walking out, and this print, you have to step back. Your brain is calculating here and thinking about what is the size of whatever it was that smashed into this dirt. Now, if it happened the night before and the ground is moist, okay, I get that. But I can guarantee you that if I was out there walking around the night before, that I wouldn't have made a dent in the soft dirt either. It's just the way that it is. I got to take a quick break. Let's get that in. This is Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, night 2 of Squatch Week with Duke Sullivan. We got William Lunsford in the chat, everybody. Hello, William. We'll see William tomorrow night on the show. This is Fade to Black. Stay with us.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
You're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the X.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
The Believer is the chilling true story of Dr. John Mack, a renowned Harvard psychiatrist and Pulitzer Prize winner.
This is an outreach program from the cosmos to the consciously impaired.
He risked it all to investigate human encounters with aliens. The Believer, Alien Encounters, Hard Science, and the Passion of John Mack. Written by award-winning former New York Times journalist and author Ralph Blumenthal. Now available in paperback from High Road Books.
Introducing the Game Changer blend from River Moon Coffee that delivers a customized blend made specifically for the Fadernauts. If the game is rigged, change the game. It's a bolder cup with some bite. Game Changer is the coffee of choice for those that prefer an organic dark roast that is slightly lighter and milder, but it's still dark. With wild notes of pecans and chocolate with a rich, balanced, full-bodied cup that is roasted to perfection for a great coffee to start your day, as an after-dinner coffee or anywhere in between. Artisan, small batch roasted to perfection. USDA certified organic, all River Moon coffee is freshly roasted and packaged in the USA. Just go to rivermooncoffee.com or click on the banners over on our site and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. rivermooncoffee.com. Do you want to be an official Fade or Not? Of course you do. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. Just go to our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com. Fade or Nots. When you think about the future of our country and where we're headed, do you wonder about the food supply? I do. Disruptions in the food supply chain could be disastrous, and they usually occur with little warning. That's why the smartest thing you can do today is to stockpile emergency food, water, and other essentials. I personally recommend My Patriot Supply. They're the nation's largest emergency preparedness company, serving millions of customers for more than a decade. In fact, they're the only source my family trusts for our preparedness plan. You should too. Right now, save 20% off a full 4-week supply of delicious meals that provide 2,000 calories a day. Saving 20% helps too, doesn't it? Especially now. So go to preparewithjimmy.com and get ready. That's preparewithjimmy.com. There's no time to lose. Do it now.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA.
Hi, I'm Ray Sobbs, and I'm here to tell you about something I really think you're going to like. The UNX Network is a part of a larger group called UNX Media, and one of the things we offer is the quarterly UNX magazine, which is available both in print and digital formats. This amazing magazine covers all aspects of the unexplained and makes for a great coffee table periodical that is certain to spark enlightening conversations in your living rooms. We invite you to check out the latest digital issue for free. Just go to unxnetwork.com/membership and fill out your free membership with your name and email and become a new free member. The new summer issue is now available, and the theme is Time Anomalies, which includes a feature article written by our managing editor, Lee Spiegel. Just go to unxnetwork.com/memberships. That's unxnetwork.com/memberships and get your free e-copy of the UNX magazine today.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black, Squatch Week here on Fade to Black. Tonight's night 2 with Duke Sullivan. And now, in case you're wondering what has been going on in the chat, Duke needs a new transmission, so we're going to supply him with the new transmission tonight. All donations that come in on tonight's show, I will send directly to Duke. Number one. Number two, I will match dollar for dollar all of the donations that come in. And so I'm going to have to sell a guitar. And I'm going to do this for Duke's Transmission. That's the kind of guy I am. Which one is going to be missing? All right. I'm going to be broke, but I want to be broker. All right. So everybody, kick down. I will match everything that comes in tonight. Our guest, of course, is Duke Sullivan of World Bigfoot Radio. Duke, this is what the community does.
This is just wonderful. What an outpouring from you folks. I absolutely love you. Thanks so much for helping me out, because all I want to do is get out there and film more Bigfoot. Got to have a working vehicle to do that. They're actually looking forward to me coming out there. They're all excited. Like, when are you coming out? When are you coming out? When are you coming out? And I'm like, oh, I can't get there.
Absolutely. Well, so it's going to be soon. It's going to be soon. And the community will always come together like this. And this is amazing. So again, everybody, I will match dollar for dollar. I think we're up to $440. That's a grand, right? That's good. That's pretty good. And let's see if we double that. We double that.
Jimmy, send me a list of the donors, because it's my tradition on my channel that since it's not monetized, anybody that donates to my channel, your name goes on the co-producer list at the beginning of the show.
Right on.
So let's make that co-producer list nice and long.
I have no idea how to do that. Wait a minute. No,
if they go direct to my PayPal, I know who it is and I get their name. But other than that, I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I'm saying with this list and things. But Bill, if you can keep track of the names and get that to me, just send it to me in email. That would be awesome. And then we'll send that over to Duke. I'm sure Bill has got your email address too as well. But anyway, enough of that. We were talking dollar for dollar. I'm telling you, I want my wallet to scream in pain. No more, no more. Okay? All right? Okay, let's make it happen. I showed some of these. I didn't show these images last night. But I think I whipped them out last week when you called into the show. But I'm going to show them again because we're talking about tracks, and my personal experience as it went down was something that it freaked me out. And so what had happened was these four young men right here were out. This was a conference. This was my conference. We had about 300 people there. I was tired. I was working there for a week. These four kids are doing what boys do on 75 acres of forest land in Washington. They're out playing and having fun, right? And they come up, Phoenix, this guy right here, he comes over to me. I was in a private moment. He goes, Jimmy, do you want to see a Bigfoot track? I'm like, no.
No, I want to relax for a minute. I'm tired.
And he was like, I'm like, how far do I have to walk? And he goes, it's right over there. And he points out into the field. And the other three are all standing there. It's about 100 yards away. And they're all standing looking at me. Right. So I got to get up and I'm walking out and I'm going to go see a Bigfoot track. Okay. All right. So I walk out and I look down. Okay. Adam, is that?
Oh my God.
Is that $199 or $99? What? I don't have my glasses on. Hold on. That's 199 buckaroos.
Thank you, Adam's Bicycle. I love you. I mountain bike, by the way, too, to stay in shape so I can do all this high altitude hiking.
And so let's see here. Hold on. We've got that.
Thanks, Martha.
Martha just came in with, okay. All right. Now I'm officially tapped out. My wallet's like tapped out. And thank you for that, Martha. I will match everything dollar for dollar. Here's so anyway, so I go out and I was not prepared for this, Duke. I was not prepared. You see here, that's Jason Quitt, amazing researcher. He's been on the show many times. And he was up there with his video crew and his camera equipment. And I could not believe, Duke, what I was looking at. I look down, and it is well. Here it is. Here is the image. I'm looking at this, which is in a second here. I'll show you with a dollar bill that I put down into the track to give some reference. But you can see the toes, right? You can see the toes. You can see the heel. You can see the arch in the middle that you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
See how far into the grass, into the dirt that this goes. It's about 2 inches. And I am just blown away. This is the second track. Now it goes left, right, left, right. There were 4 tracks in an arch. There it is, right
Another
there.
nice one. Yeah.
You can see how long is a $20 bill? What, 8 inches, right? I'm guessing it's not 6 inches, so it's probably a little longer. So you can see here's the back of the heel, and here's the tip of the big toe out here. And you can see how big, and you can see how deep it is into the ground.
That's a crater. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the other part of the story you left out, Jimmy, is how long was it between when you saw the initial track and you realized, wait, there might be more tracks? Everybody step back.
Right. Okay, so what had happened, and that's a really good point, and these kids deserve all the credit
Good job,
in the world. I mean, seriously. So what had happened was this. Let's go back to this first image. Right now, we've only found the first track. Okay, and so I'm sitting here and I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. There might be, okay, Jessica Rodriguez just kicked in another 20. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you, Jessica.
And so I start thinking to myself, wait a minute. If these are here, then what's in front? What's in back?
Mm-hmm.
And so we immediately backed off the tracks. We got sticks and a little marker, whatever, the red tape on the top. And we backed up. We started looking, and we found 3 more. All of them were in front of this track. This was the first one. There was nothing. See where Jason is standing with the camera? There were no tracks going in that direction. All the tracks were behind my back, going out into an arch. And see that camper with the green awning? They arched towards that green camper. And that's a friend of mine's camper. He was like, dude, Bigfoot was walking to my camper last night.
What was he cooking the night before?
Right. Actually, we had pastrami sandwiches. But yeah, so they arched in an arch towards that camper in the background. And that was the part for me that was the head scratcher. And I know with a veteran, like you, and I know William Lunsford and the other researchers that are in the chat room tonight are acclimated to this. But for me, I'm discovering this for the first time, which is there is not a trail of tracks. That these tracks just started where we were here and then ended 4 steps later. How common is that to have them just appear out of nowhere and then disappear?
It's very common. And a lot of times you can just chalk it up to their expertise at walking through wilderness environments and harding their tracks. And the bigger they are, the better they are at it. And they have certain tricks that they use. But when you're out in a field like that and the ground, all the substrate is about the same hardness, dryness, and you've got like 4 tracks. There's where's the one leading up to the first track? Where did it come from? Would it fall out of the sky? And yeah, researchers find this kind of stuff. They find it in snow tracks too, where the tracks go out into the middle of a field and they'll just stop.
Right. And we, I don't have a picture. How cool is that to be posing with your Bigfoot track that you found?
Look at how big that track is compared to those kids too.
It's huge. It's right here. It's huge. It's
Yeah.
absolutely huge. Here's the thing, and I pointed this out last night. You can look at the track and see it, but when you make the plaster cast, and then hold it in your hand. That's a whole different thing. Now it becomes really physical, and then you see how big it is. I put this cast down. I wear a size 9.5 shoe. Okay, I have fairly tiny feet. I get that, but you hold that up next to your shoe, and it's twice as big as your foot. It starts to put everything into context, doesn't it? It's the cast that applies the biology to it.
Well, and you've got to show that to somebody else, then, it's stunning at that point, because you've got a piece of physical something that you can go, here's how big whatever it was that made this impression in the ground was at least this big, okay, with a little bit of fudging. It's a little different when you actually find it yourself. Summer before last, I found 3 tracks in the mud down by a river that were about 21 inches long. And when you run into something like that and you're standing out there going, okay, who left these? And they look really fresh. Should we keep even going this direction?
Okay. So would it suggest, and I want to spend some time on this point with you. Does this suggest something, are we going woo here? Are we going interdimensional? Is it an expert of the forest in the woods and they want to hide their tracks? Or is it something that is appearing and disappearing? Or is it a combination of both?
I lean toward combination of both, because a lot of their sneaky tricks with their tracks are things that you can actually explain physically. A good example of that is their tendency to walk on fallen tree trunks. If you don't step on the ground, you're not leaving a track. And whenever there's a fallen tree in the woods and it happens to go the same direction as them, remember what we were talking about earlier, their foot can curve around a tree trunk. They can walk right up a tree trunk. And the best example of that was actually years ago in northern Minnesota. I believe it was Jack Barnes and Jeff Anderson were snowmobiling, and they were making an all-new snowmobile trail. So they had 2 snowmobile trails, and they had holsters that had chainsaws in them because there's no trail. So, of course, you're going to have fallen trees. You're going to have to cut your way through at some point. And they'd cut through at least a dozen deadfalls, and they came out into this little clearing, and there were tracks going across it. And they went, what the hell? Because this is like 2.5 foot deep snow, 17-inch tracks. Mm-hmm. Whatever made the tracks didn't drag its foot or its toes in the snow in between steps. And when you see the video of the original tracks and you see their trackway next to it where they're plowing a trackway for them to walk through the snow, and whatever it was that left those tracks just stepped right over it. Well, they ended up following that track line for over 3 miles. They spent all day long following it around, documenting it. And all the time, whenever there was a fallen tree available, it walked on the fallen tree. And this seemed to be habitual, because a lot of these fallen trees had snow on them. So you could see where he was stepping on them, but nonetheless, he'd be doing the same thing. And so when they went back and looked again to where the tracks had come from, they found a hillside that had most of the snow off of it. And it looked like the tracks just jumped off of a tree trunk that was on the ground and all of a sudden started walking, and they couldn't figure out where they had come from. There was no marks on the ground. Well, they went back and looked at it later on after they had seen the rest of the trail and went, okay, here's what he did. He came down from the top of the hill. He walked this tree trunk, fallen log down to this one. Then he walked this one down to this one. He made it all the way down the entire hill without ever touching the ground, just walking the fallen tree trunks. And the other thing they do when they're going somewhere, and especially if they want to find the same trail again, they'll snap tree branches. So whatever the height is where it's convenient for them to reach out, they'll just snap a tree branch. And that marks the trail for them. If they want to come back, or if they got somebody following them, here's which way to go.
Yeah, you bring up a really good point. When we were kids, we all did the same thing, trying to re-step in your tracks in the snow, right? Trying to hide your tracks, trying to walk backwards into your tracks, and to do that. But one thing that you always did is you scrape the top of the snow in between your footprints, right?
if you got snow more than about 4 or 5 inches deep, it's you've got to be thinking about it to lift your leg up that high. And at some point, depending on your height, and usually comes around about a little bit over a foot, you really can't reach your foot up high enough to not leave a drag mark in the snow. And especially if you're trying to back trail yourself. And keeping in mind, these guys aren't wearing snowshoes or boots or anything like that leaves a nebulous footprint. If they're back trailing themselves in the snow, they've got to put their toes down in exactly the same spot, which, by the way, they walk tightrope style. They don't walk straddle step like we do. It's a straight line. So they have to step even further back and get that hip around in order to put that foot in exactly the same position. And as we pointed out earlier, they can't turn their head around all the way to see what's behind them. They have to turn their upper torso. So that puts them in an even more difficult position to try and pull off this little maneuver. And they have to get their toes in exactly the same place. Because if the snow is deep, as they're bringing their foot up after they've already put it in the snow and they're walking forward, their toes will inevitably catch on the upper lip of the snow and throw snow forward.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not dragging the snow, but it'll do that. So if you try and put your foot back in that exact same hole again, over and over, even for a human, that would almost be impossible.
Yeah, and you would only do it like twice, and then you fall over. That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
You'd be exhausted. You couldn't. We've all tried to do it, and that's the thing that I like to do the most. Everybody, just listen to me. I like to compare my personal experiences and apply it to this. It's the best way to do it. Have I tried to do this before? Yes, I have. Have I tried to fool my friends growing up? Absolutely. Did I try to put tracks in the snow going in one direction? I would go hide behind a tree in another one, or behind a tree. How did we pull that off? That's what we did when we were kids. It's hard to do, and so to think that this is going on, I apply.
Well, just think about it for a minute from that standpoint. When we're little kids, we're doing the same kind of stuff they're doing with their little kids. They play those same kind of games and stuff, but they have physical capabilities that make us look like paraplegics. They can do amazing stuff we can't even think of. They're so much stronger, faster, and more agile than we are. And when we get to the age where we go off to school and start doing other things, they don't. They keep practicing. They get better and better and better at it. The older they get, the better they are at it.
Martha says, I really hope that no one ever knows me as much about me as Duke knows about Bigfoot. You got that right. That would be absolutely frightening. But let's get back. So there is a lot of discussion. Duke, I'm of the belief, and you know this, I'm leaning on something supernatural going on, that there may be portals involved, that there may be an introduction of something that may be interdimensional with Bigfoot, not only with the start and stop of tracks, and you've helped explain why that does occur, but there's also no bodies, no bones, no skeleton, and that's just something that we have to deal with. But that would also suggest something interdimensional, and I'm okay with that.
Well, the evidence seems to us that what's going on is that they have a society just like we do. Just imagine like a Native American tribe. If somebody gets killed, what are they going to do? Leave the body lying there for predators to gnaw on? No, they're going to bury him. Well, that's the same thing they do with them. And there's been examples of this kind of Marine Corps no man left behind kind of behavior from them too. A notorious one is the siege of Hanabi, where they had a couple brothers who won't admit to it, but allegedly were poaching deer, and they had them hanging up in their garage all the time. And these Bigfoot started coming and stealing their deer, and they weren't happy about it. And then because they put up a fuss about it, one of the Sasquatch in particular seemed to have an attitude and really decided that he was just going to go after them, and started scaring people, putting his face in the window, growling at people, really threatening, aggressive behavior. And finally, one of them just got sick of it, took his AK-47 and plugged him 4 times. And they were afraid to go out in the dark, but they could see where he fell, and they could hear him gasping as he was dying. And as soon as he died, 3 more of them came out of the woods and grabbed his corpse and ran off with it. Now, interestingly, under an hour later, there was a completely separate report from a truck driver who was going down a road and claimed that he saw 3 Sasquatch carrying the body of a 4th one run across the road in front of him. And this was way before these guys made any kind of report about it.
Last night after the show, I went out on my back patio. I live in the desert, as everybody knows. I'm in the Mojave Desert. And on my back patio, one after another, I had a little light on, 2 pretty good sized beetle type bugs, not roaches, like beetles. They were about this big, came out from my yard walking towards my house. I was like, well, you're not going inside, right? And they were big, like 2-3 inches long. And I stepped on one and I felt guilty, but I was like, well, you know what? It's just the way it is. And then I stepped on the second one and I stepped back and I looked and there they were, smashed on my patio. This morning I woke up, okay, and went outside. They're both gone. They're both gone. And the spot, the bug smush, clean. Right? I'm like, what came in last night and took and carried these away?
Right.
Think about that. Now, it's exactly what we're talking about here. So whether it's predators in the forest or whatever, they have a way of cleaning up after themselves, right? And I had 2 bug corpses on my patio last night that disappeared in a matter of hours. Cleaned. I mean, whoever came in scrubbed the patio too, right? They
didn't want to leave any evidence.
Yeah,
they may have been midget insectoid aliens that you accidentally thought were bugs and squished, Jimmy.
So this is what I did this morning. I was like, I gotta see this on my cameras. I have cameras, right? And I went back and I didn't have the angle down onto the patio. But I wanted to see the worker crew that came out. Or maybe it was a lizard.
Probably.
I don't know, but I wanted to go watch it on my camera, and I didn't have the angle. I was kind of bummed. It would have been fun to see, though. I would have posted that up on Instagram for sure. Let's take our break right here. Our guest tonight, the one and only Duke Sullivan, is here of World Bigfoot Radio. That's because it's Squatch Week here on Fade to Black, and tonight is night 2. More with Duke after this short break. Stay with us.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Your 1 million gigawatt paranormal powerhouse, KUNX-DB, the X.
The Believer is the chilling true story of Dr. John Mack, a renowned Harvard psychiatrist and Pulitzer Prize winner.
This is an outreach program from the cosmos to the consciously impaired.
He risked it all to investigate human encounters with aliens. The Believer, Alien Encounters, Hard Science, and the Passion of John Mack. Written by award-winning former New York Times journalist and author Ralph Blumenthal. Now available in paperback from High Road Books.
Are you ready to read about true paranormal events? Unex Media publishes nonfiction books about UFOs, ghosts and haunted places, time anomalies, cryptid creatures, and more. Just like KUNX-DB Radio, it's all about unexplained phenomena. Visit www.unxmedia.com to see our list of great book titles by Debbie Ziegelmeyer, Gene Walker, Devin Listrom, Wayne Lawrence, Bill Spicer, and yours truly, Margie Kay. That's unxmedia.com.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I only drink Fade to Black blend coffee from River Moon. Just click on the River Moon coffee banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Promo code F2B blend.
This is the only way forward.
This is Fade to Black. Make contact.
Join us August 5th through the 7th, 2022 at the Drury Conference Center in Cape Girardeau, Missouri for the launch of the Midwest Conference on the Unknown. There are 3 interactive days packed with vendors, exhibitors, and nationally recognized researchers presenting on unknown topics like UFO UAP phenomenon, ghosts and Bigfoot, and Missouri's own Momo, the Missouri Monster. Cape Girardeau has long been one of the most sought-out areas for UFO enthusiasts since the 1941 UFO crash, and now is your chance to be a part of the inaugural conference. Visit cape-events.com or follow us on Facebook at Midwest Conference on the Unknown for more information. Ex-listeners get 30% off by using the promo code XVIP. That's cape-events.com, promo code XVIP.
When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of fade to black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network.
Welcome back. Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Duke Sullivan, World Bigfoot Radio. Now, I'm just going to continue this. I want to go broke tonight. So all donations to Duke that come in tonight during the show, I will match. All right? That's it. That's it. I want everybody here to laugh. Jimmy had to part with, and whatever that dollar figure is, I want you guys to enjoy this. So every dollar tonight I will match for Duke. We're going to get Duke a new tranny in his truck. This keeps going like it is, Duke. You just might as well just buy a new truck. And
I wouldn't be averse to that happening. That's for sure.
Yeah, that'd be cool. So everybody, all donations, I will match. I think we're up. To $700 or pretty close to it, somewhere in there. And that's. I said 2,000 at the beginning of the show, feeling a little cocky. And but here we go. But I'll match. I will match dollar for dollar tonight. So let's see how much pain you guys can cause me tonight, and I love every minute of it. This community is an amazing community, Duke. It's just amazing. Now let's get back to the conversation. Let's talk some more Bigfoot.
Let's finish up on tracks, Jimmy. I got 2 more things to point out that people can use as they're running around this summer, in case they happen to find Bigfoot tracks.
Duke is co-hosting the show.
Hey, didn't I do that once before, Jimmy? Totally by accident?
You did. But here's the thing, though. Okay, no, hold on a minute. I got to wrestle control of the show. Okay. We'll come back to tracks. I want to finish what we were talking about, the interdimensional aspect of this, because I have been on the fence, Duke. I swing both ways with this. species that has yet to be found and confirmed, just a biological thing that is running around on the planet, and then something else that may be interdimensional? Or is it a combination of both? And we cannot deny UFO reports, sightings in the sky that are at the exact same time when a Bigfoot sighting happens. And there's that element too. Is it a combination of both, or are you firmly on the biological side?
No, there's definitely woo aspect to it. I've had guests on that talked about exclusively that part of it, and they ain't making up stories. They got the video and pictures to prove it. One of them was Robert Boston, Bigfoot in Germany. He's been on my show a couple times. He was doing Bigfoot research in Germany because he'd been doing it over here for almost 10 years, and then he moved there and went, why am I seeing tree structures in the forest in Germany? Are they over here? Yes.
Right.
So he found one of their active areas, and he started doing things that other people usually don't do, like setting up 2 cameras that are filming the same area at the same time, walking around with an EM meter in his pocket all the time and watching as it goes off when he's getting zapped by the Bigfoot or when they're around him cloaked, it's going off.
So what does that suggest?
Because they have electromagnetic manipulation. We've seen them do this with equipment over and over and over and over again. They can turn your camera off. They can delete a file on it. They can make it look fuzzier with waves through it. They can make the screen completely black. They can make your batteries die. They can make you think your batteries died. I had this happen to me one time. I'm trying to film with my camera. All of a sudden, red blinky light, no battery. I'm like, what are you talking about? I haven't even been on this thing for like 10 minutes and I had a completely full battery. So I pull the battery out. I take the other one that's full out of my pocket. I put that one in. Same thing. Dead battery. Okay, how can both batteries be dead? One I haven't even used, one I only used for about 10 minutes.
Right.
So I kind of stopped for a minute. I put the other battery in my other pocket. I pull out the one that I had in there initially and put it back into the camera. And guess what? It's just fine. Blaine Tyler, that I recommend that you have on, he's had to manipulate his camera equipment too. He was standing there in the winter trying to film a little dialogue section where he had it set up on a tripod, and he was about 8-10 feet in front of it, narrating this little thing that he wanted to talk about. And every time he'd start talking, his camera would go off. And it wasn't anything with draining the battery. The camera would just go off. And then he'd go back and he'd see what was going on, turn the camera back on, go back over and start narrating again. Same thing happened. It was like the 3rd or 4th time he finally said, knock it off, you guys. I'm just trying to film this little piece. And after that, it quit happening. We've had another guy on my team, Michael Matt, was walking around filming with his cell phone. And he walked underneath one of their arches. And as soon as he walked underneath it, his phone quit.
I had somebody contact me a few years ago. I'm not going to say names or anything because the whole thing just fell apart. But he said that he had a video that he shot in his living room and of a portal opening up and Bigfoot stepping out. And this was a high-res 1080p full-frame video. And so I asked to see the video. And he had said that it was perfect and that there was, you could see everything in it. It was his living room and the circle opens up and Bigfoot steps out, right? Now, that sounds pretty incredible, right? And I said, well, send the video to me. And he immediately asked for money. And rights and this and that. He was talking to and I said, you know what? Okay. I don't want to see the video then if it's going to go in this direction. And I had literally said, nobody's going to see it but me. I just want to see what is probably the most incredible video of all time. And then there's a conversation here. When it all falls apart, maybe the video's real, maybe the video exists, but this was 4 years ago and nothing has come of it. Why do you think, let's say the video is real, that what I was told was true. Okay, that's fine. why hasn't the perfect, besides Gimlin, which is on film, and I find that an interesting aspect of this, why haven't we seen another definitive video like this surface?
There's actually a lot of really good video out there. It's not getting media attention. Some of it is fake, but there's good video out there, and it's just not getting media attention. Because nowadays, everybody assumes anything that, if it looks legit, it's got to be CGI. And man, the mainstream media isn't saying it's the next Patterson Gimlin film, therefore I don't care and I'm not paying attention. So if you're actually in, the Bigfoot community paying attention to what's going on, there's plenty of people that are getting decent video. It happens 4 or 5 times a year. And there's Bigfoot researchers that are managing to pull off getting lots of good still pictures, pictures of faces, pictures of groups of them. One of the people I recommended to you to have on the show, Blaine Tyler, Canada's greatest living Bigfoot researcher up in Northeast Ontario. He just released a video with this little brown 4-foot tall one standing right out in the open in between 2 bushes. And you can see behind him in the shade underneath the trees, there's 3 or 4 big adults standing back there. So this kind of stuff is actually coming out all the time. It's just, being heavily suppressed because, certain people don't want it going out all over the public, basically. I get video and stuff of them too. Very few people actually paying attention to it.
And the other aspect, not to run this stuff into the ground, because we're going to get back literally, right? We're going to get back to the tracks. But I have brought this up many times that we haven't had a body, an actual body, and I can't figure out why. To suggest that, we don't find deer carcasses or bear carcasses or monkeys and things. No, that's not true. We find them all the time. And there is plenty of deer and bear roadkill that happens all year long, but we haven't had that with Bigfoot. And to suggest that Bigfoot is too smart to get hit by a car, people get hit by cars all the time. I've been hit by cars twice. Me personally, I've been run down by a car, and I like to think that I'm smart enough to avoid that. But it hasn't happened, and that I just have to ask you why before we get to tracks.
I'd say that it has happened, and that the powers that be managed to get there and intercept the body before it manages to get out to the public. As a matter of fact, I know somebody right now that's working on a documentary that actually has the better part of an entire skeleton of one of them. The only part he doesn't have is the skull.
Say what?
Yep. There's plenty of physical evidence out there.
There is a documentary coming out with a Bigfoot skeleton without the skull?
Yep. Yepper. Can't reveal any more than that. But that's not the first person that's had parts and stuff. And usually when anything is mentioned about it and who has it and where it is, it tends to disappear and they get threatened right away. So he's wisely not telling anybody about it.
Is there DNA testing done?
Well, he certainly could have it done. He's got pieces to do it with. Of course, the whole DNA Sasquatch genome has already been sequenced, and the Ketchum DNA study and is listed in Zoo Bank. So if he'd had a DNA test, we'd have something to compare it to.
Well, if you're in contact with this person, you can let them know that I'll pay for the DNA testing. If they've got it, I'll jump in and take care of it. And again, my wallet going, what are you? Stop! But look, I want to get these answers. And if it's something like that, and I can get in the middle of it and help the research out, I will do that.
Well, we'll see what we can do here. There's other top of the line Bigfoot researchers that already know what I'm talking about. And one of them was actually there when he was doing his presentation about it to the very few people that got to hear about it. She's in chat right now. Robin McRae, another person I recommend you have on because she mind speaks with them. And she knows all about the portals and all their paranormal abilities. Now, all I can report on with any kind of veracity is the stuff that we've managed to document on video, is that apparently they absolutely can blend with the background and make themselves look like the same color. And one of my viewers found that in one of my videos this spring, which is actually a piece of the presentation I did at the Nebraska Bigfoot Conference. So it had already been out for like a year. And he just happened to be sharp-eyed enough to notice it. Where I'm filming over, I believe it's Mike's head, because in the bottom of the screen you can see the top of this baseball cap. Up in the distance, there's this whole wood line, and everything looks totally normal until part of it moves. And then you realize it was sitting right in the open the whole time, and you couldn't see it until it moved, and it's white. So it should have been even more obvious. And I think the only reason it moved is because it thought I was filming Mike, because I had the camera positioned to the side of him like I was looking at the top of his head, but I wasn't. I was looking over it filming. So it screwed up. And then another example is where we were just at this spring in the ghost town of Coloma, where I got a whole bunch of nice tracks and stuff back on the 17th. But I was there a couple years ago with a friend of mine from Alaska who was just randomly visiting here in Montana for the summer and for a few days, and said, well, let's go look for some Bigfoot. And we went up to this ghost town. Now, first of all, we have reason to believe that there's absolutely a portal there, because it's got two very strange and peculiar looking standing stones in this one spot. And when I had the team from the Paranormal Portal up there doing their ghost hunting and live streaming a couple different years, they brought all kinds of gear with them. And one thing they had was a gamma ray burst detector. And I think it was Dan Pruitt that was using it. It was either him or MCAT. They went and stood right in between these two standing stones with it. And within 2 minutes, they had two gamma ray bursts, which they shouldn't have had any, much less two, that fast. And the other thing is that we've documented all kinds of weird paranormal stuff around this place, in addition to the Sasquatch that are there. So we have reason to believe that that is a stationary portal right there, and the local cryptids are using it, which is why this ghost town is maintaining its creepy reputation, and none of the locals will be up there after dark. Any of them with any sense. Anyway, we don't have any sense, so we go up there and camp at night.
The other part with this, and what I'm suggesting here, is it possible that Bigfoot, I mean, because you're saying that this is a reality with EM and gamma and other interference, battery draining, is it possible that Bigfoot is able to interfere with digital video recording, as opposed to what happened with Patterson and Gimlin?
Yep. And they had regular celluloid video, old-fashioned camera.
Right.
Yep, exactly. And that's Bobo from Finding Bigfoot has talked about that before too, that more of the modern researchers should try using film cameras. And Robert Kreider from Kreider Explorations has also brought that up, because first of all, you get a much better image. If there's something in the background, you can zoom way, way, way in on it, and it's not going to pixelate because no pixels. And the second thing is, they seem to really have a peculiar ability with anything that's electronic. I mean, like if they get caught on the camera, they can wipe it after the fact. You can't do that with actual video, with film. That doesn't seem to work. But anything electronic, unbelievable amount of messing with it they could do. And again, you could ask Robin McCrae about that. She'll give you all kinds of examples. And I've seen a few myself. It's one of the last thing I wanted to bring up about Coloma I started into is when I had my friend from Alaska up there. We were walking through this area with these peculiar looking rock stacks down to where I had found a whole bunch of their tree structures, really old ones, from like 80 or 100 years before. And as we were walking down there, she felt this creepy feeling like something was watching her. So she just turned around, took a picture with her camera. She didn't see anything. And when you look at the picture afterwards, there's this distortion field standing right in front of her. And both sides of it are bending backwards into the scenery. And if you draw an outline around it, it's a humanoid shape with an arm reaching forward, trying to touch her.
That's creepy.
Very. And she took this with a cell phone. I saw it 5 minutes after the fact, and she was going, "What the bleep is this?" And I went, "Yeah, good question." This is about 150, 175 feet from where that portal is.
You know what's weird? You can walk around in suburbia, cityscape, and shoot selfies and pictures and everything. Whoa, hold on a minute. $300 from Olivia.
Oh my God, Olivia. God bless you. Thank you so much.
Look at that. Okay. My wallet just tapped out. I heard it. It just went like this on the mat.
I can see the smoke coming up from your pocket there, Jim.
It literally said uncle. I don't know if the microphone picked that up, but
the camera got the little puff of smoke.
I love it, man. I love it. Thank you, Olivia. That's absolutely amazing. And again, thank you. This is what this community is all about. And I got to tell you, if I can bring tears to the eyes of Duke Sullivan, I have won. That's all I got to say. Thank you, Olivia. That's absolutely. I think that puts us officially over $1,000.
My Lord.
Yeah. And hey, Bill, give me what's what's the total? Where are we at?
What's the damages?
Where are we at so far? And Bill, give me here. Hold on. What is the damage so far? Let's get that up there. Let's see who's keeping the tally. 1,036.
Good Lord.
Yo!
You guys are amazing.
Yo!
God bless you. Thank you so much for all the help.
Yo!
Wow.
Yeah, man. That is so cool. Let's keep it going.
You have the coolest audience, Jimmy.
Yeah. So, you know what? Half of the audience tonight is yours too, as well. So, you have an amazing audience as well. Let's back up on this though. It's hard to buy film today, right? It is. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to buy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, there's a couple of companies in Japan that still make it, but other than that, it's like almost impossible.
Right. And nothing looks like film. Forget about shooting Bigfoot, just in general, right? It looks amazing, but you're also only shooting in like 15-minute chunks. You can't just shoot forever. And so my point was, we can go out and shoot selfies all day long in the city or whatever, no issues. Take pictures, shoot video, no issues. You go out into the forest, you go out into the woods, and suddenly you've got problems, right? The only issues I've ever had with images, digital on a cell phone, is when I'm in a remote location trying to take really cool shots. Mm-hmm. And I can't figure out why. And why would we have EM interference unless it's like portals or something else that is out there that would cause this interference? And it's happened over and over again. This battery drainage thing, it's not rare. It's common.
Exactly. And it's not just the Bigfoot phenomenon, the ghost phenomenon. You run into that kind of thing too. And there's no doubt a crossover there. My favorite Bigfoot psychic, Robin McCrae, has done a read of the Coloma area. And yeah, there's Sasquatch there. There's other entities there too. There are ghosts there. So that's part of the problem with researching the area, because whatever phenomena you're measuring, you can't be exactly sure who it is that's issuing forth with this phenomenon. And that tends to taint any of the results that you get. And, the last time we were up there in June, we had 2 different videos. I shot one at night right before the sun went down. You couldn't get any video. And in the morning, Ashton, who was there with me, shot a morning video of camp. And both of our videos, we had cryptids in them. They were filming right from camp. And the one the night before was standing in between a couple trees. And if you look at the morning shot that Ashton shot, whatever was standing there isn't between those 2 trees. And Christy Sci-Fi actually found it. Shout out to her. Thanks, Christy. Super sharp-eyed. Sent me the screen capture, and then I passed it along to Robin. And Robin's abilities include her being able to see energy signatures even on video and pictures. Bigfoot in Germany, Robert Boston, could do this too. And so she said, well, there's an energy signature there. That's not just a blob in the trees, and it's giving off a dogman energy signature. So apparently we had a dogman about 60 feet from camp. right before we went to bed. Well, then the morning shot that Ashton takes that shows that there's nothing there, I'm still in my tent sleeping, and 30 feet behind my tent, right at the edge of the tree line, there's this black object, and he didn't notice it as he was panning around. Again, Christy spotted it. Robin verified it's a Sasquatch, and that one's fairly obvious because in addition to being able to see his outline fairly well back in the darkness and the shade underneath the trees, he's kind of kneeling down, and he's got his left fist on the ground. His right arm is around the tree to his right, and his left foot is out too far. It's in the sun. You can see the end of his foot, and you can count his toes. So that's not pareidolia.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And there he is, right in broad daylight, just sitting there, proud as can be. And now the question that arises then is how is it that Ashton is filming this 360 pan around camp? He's only sitting about probably 50, 60 feet away from him, but didn't notice him. Besides the fact that he didn't move. And keeping in mind that about 5 hours later, Michael Matt showed up and set up his tent right in front of the spot where that thing was sitting. And he verifies there's nothing there but open woods. There's no stump there. There's nothing there. I had my tent set up there for 2 days right in front of where whatever that was sitting in the wood line right there. So again, animate object, whatever it was, and it looks like a Bigfoot. But again, the question comes up, how did Ashton not notice it? Yeah, they're good at hiding as long as they don't move. Generally, we don't see them. But, I know what to look for, and this has happened to me a few times too, where you look at the video afterwards and there's clearly something there. And you're going, well, I have the pattern recognition. I know what I'm looking for. Why didn't I see it while I was filming it? And I had this discussion with Bigfoot in Germany who had the same thing happen to him a bunch of times. It's like, look, I'm looking for these things. I know what I'm looking for. Even if I see part of one, I'll probably recognize it. Right. And yet when I look at the video later, there's one 30 feet away from me.
Right.
How the hell did I miss it?
Right.
Well, apparently they have like some kind of a, mesmerism, call it whatever you want, that they can just mess with your mind. They have the skills of the superhero, the shadow, or ninja, if you will. And the ninja know how to do some of this stuff.
What I'm thinking? I'm thinking predator. And I don't want to go, I don't want to go completely nuts here, but I'm visualizing that type of ability.
They could do that. That's blending. They can do that. That's an easier trick for them than full-on cloaking. And if you guys go look at the YouTube channel NVTV, who are just like a clearinghouse of Bigfoot video clips, I think it was last week they turned out one where they said it was a Bigfoot cloaking. Well, in fact, it's a Bigfoot blending, but it's a great piece of video because there's some black object that looks like a Bigfoot standing across a river in broad daylight, and as the camera's on it, it just slowly fades out. Now, if you're sharp-eyed and you look close, you could see it's still there. Mm-hmm. You could still see its outline, but now it's the same exact color as its background. Well, that is their ability to just blend, and a lot of that has to do with the energy field and the properties of their hair. But when they completely cloak, they can go completely invisible. Well, and that object that Sunny got in front of her was in the process of cloaking, which is why you can't see it. You could see it bending the light around it, and you can see both sides of the picture, which should be a flat view, are like bent around a corner, and it doesn't make any sense at all. Well, and actually, if you look closely, I got to add this in. If you look closely behind the cloaking object, you can see behind the distortion field on its left side, there's an actual Bigfoot's head. It was peeking around this tree, watching what was going on, and he's not cloaking. The one in the front that's trying to count coup on her is the one bending the light around it.
Duke, I need to take a commercial break. I'm not trying to interrupt.
Just wanted to get that out.
I gotta pay you money. And the only way that's going to happen is that we run this commercial. Up to you, Duke.
Go ahead. Run it, Jimmy. Run it.
We'll be right back after this short break. Remember, I'm matching dollar for dollar tonight all the donations that come in for Duke. This is Fade to Black. We're going to come back for overtime right after this. Stay with us.
You're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the X.
Hey, what up, y'all? It's your girl Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
Oh, Fadernauts, Jimmy Church here. You've seen me with my thunderstorm. Now you can purify the air in your home and get healthy, clean, fresh-smelling air and eliminate odors just like I do right here in the bunker. The Eden Pure Thunderstorm uses oxy technology that naturally sends out O3 molecules into the air, which seek out odors and air pollutants in your home and destroys them. It's called a thunderstorm because it purifies the air just like after a thunderstorm. And right now, you can save $200 on an Eden Pure Thunderstorm 3-pack for whole home protection. With this special offer, you're getting 3 units for under $200. Seriously. Go to EdenPureDeals.com and use Fader3. Shipping is free and it's easy. Just scroll down. You'll see my name right there, Jimmy Church. Click on it and get your deal today. That's EdenPureDeals.com.
This is Billy Carson, founder and CEO of ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv is the fastest growing and one of the most watched networks in the world. And I would like to personally invite you to check out our expanding library of TV, film, lectures, and special presentations. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv has over 6,000 videos covering lost history, health, UFOs, spirituality, and our future. We are committed to our community, and with my personal invitation, you can right now get your own free 30-day membership at ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Your own library of information starts today at ForbiddenKnowledge.tv.
Your 1 million gigawatt paranormal powerhouse, KUNX-DB, VX.
Are you ready to read about true paranormal events? Unex Media publishes nonfiction books about UFOs, ghosts and haunted places, time anomalies, cryptid creatures, and more. Just like KUNX-DB Radio, it's all about unexplained phenomena. Visit www.unxmedia.com to see our list of great book titles by Debbie Ziegelmeyer, Gene Walker, Devin Listrom, Wayne Lawrence, Bill Spicer, and yours truly, Margie Kay. That's unxmedia.com.
Introducing the Game Changer blend from River Moon Coffee that delivers a customized blend made specifically for the Fadernauts. If the game is rigged, change the game. It's a bolder cup with some bite. Game Changer is the coffee of choice for those that prefer an organic dark roast that is slightly lighter and milder, but it's still dark. With wild notes of pecans and chocolate with a rich, balanced, full-bodied cup that is roasted to perfection for a great coffee to start your day, as an after-dinner coffee or anywhere in between. Artisan, small batch roasted to perfection. USDA certified organic, all River Moon coffee is freshly roasted and packaged in the USA. Just go to rivermooncoffee.com or click on the banners over on our site and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. rivermooncoffee.com.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
This is Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Overtime with Duke Sullivan. And, I just posted in the chat, I can't afford coffee anymore after tonight's show. And I love it. Duke, I absolutely love it. This is fantastic. And so every dollar tonight I will match, and for Duke, and we're going to get Duke a new transmission, or fix the whatever you need, Duke, to get done. You'll be able to do it after tonight's show. And so there you go. Very, very cool. I don't know what the tally is. The last tally was just over $1,000.
I didn't expect this to turn into a Duke telethon here. Thanks for the outpouring of love from everybody, especially from you, Jimmy. And everybody go buy lots of coffee from Jimmy to help him afford this ridiculous spending sprees and embarked upon here accidentally.
You know what? This is great. This is just fantastic. And I'm sitting here going, this is awesome. And man, if we doubled it, think about that. Think about that.
Just think about how long I'm going to be out in the woods between now and when the snow flies, and how much potential cool more video I'm going to get.
Is Dave Scott in the chat? Did I see Dave Scott's name pop up?
He might have been in earlier. He's on air right now.
Is he on the air?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he starts during your third hour. That's when he goes on air.
Okay. And then right after this, you're going to go over onto his show.
Yeah, I'm on his third hour on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I do a cryptid report, and I usually cover some historical event or some other current event and weird cryptid reporting that's going on. Sometimes it's very recent. One time we were talking about a park in Colorado being closed down mysteriously, and the inside news I got on it was the military was involved, and they were saying it was a Kandahar giant type incident. And then about 3 days later, they opened up the park again. No explanation given.
Wow. Jeffrey just said, Jimmy, you may have to pawn that sweet diver down rig.
Oh my God, no, Jimmy, no.
Yeah, the diver down. You can't see it. It's on the other end of the studio. But one of my favorite guitars, number one, but everybody else's favorite too as well. It's a rare guitar, the Van Halen Diver Down, and that would buy you a new truck. that certainly would. But anything that I can do, I will match dollar for dollar tonight. Any donations that come in, and where are we? What's hold on, let me just get this out to Bill. What is the total so far, Bill? Because I know Bill is one of those black and white pragmatic kind of guys that is, taking feverish notes. But I think it was over 1,000, and I may have lost track. He says 1,036. Okay, so that's
nice.
That's pretty.
Thank you, awesome folks. Love you.
Okay, let's. You wanted to continue on with tracks. I don't want to let that go. Do you remember what you?
Yeah, exactly. Actually, one of the things was when Eric was here last September with William Lunsford, who can tell you about this because he was here too. We were going late at night up to the mountain right where I live next to, about 3 miles from here. There's an area where the Bigfoot hang around. And I'd accidentally gotten one on video there years before. And I wanted to get up there late in September, right at sundown, so that the lighting conditions would be identical. Had to have a clear sky, which we had. And I went, look, we got just enough time to run up there and do a comparison video to compare to the original one from the same spot, because I know exactly where it is. And then you'll have the same light conditions, same angle of sunlight, same time of day to compare to, and you'll know for sure whether this was just a shadow or whether it was an animate object that isn't there anymore. So as we got there, we were a little bit too late, and we were going to have to walk around this whole ridge crest and up this long trail and everything, and it would take us about a half an hour to get there. And I said, okay, well, I know where this is. It's directly above us right now. I'm going to go up this really steep slope directly up to it, knowing both these guys aren't used to walking around, at like 5,000-6,000 feet. They're used to more like sea level altitude. And so I just took off on them. Actually, Eric started up ahead of me, and I passed him up. And then as I got partway up there, there was a fresh 17-inch track. where there must have been one sitting right there watching us coming in.
Right.
And when I all of a sudden veered directly to the left and went up the steep slope, he's like, oh, damn, they're coming this way. Well, yeah, because directly above the hill from there is where they hang out. I've already been up there for years. I know where they hang out. So as I go up there, there's a 17-inch track. And I say, Eric, track right here. Get a picture when you get a chance. Because I'm still trying to get to the top before it gets too dark. I want to get this comparison video. So I'm huffing and puffing and having a heart attack trying to get up there. And a little while later, Eric gets around where I was at. And he said, am I near it? And I look back at him and I go, you're right next to us, to your right. And he looks down and goes, yep, here it is. So he got a great picture of that. And then I got up there. We got the comparison video that I was looking for. And no, the object was not there. That pretty much definitively proves it once and for all. Whatever it was an animate object, because it ain't in that spot anymore. And whatever we filmed was apparently around 12 feet tall, 10 to 12 foot range, because we actually used Eric for scale, had him stand in the same place where the object had been. And he came up to like not even its armpit. And he's a fairly tall guy. So usually you don't see tracks like that. Now, here's the other thing. On that hillside before, I found their footprints. And this one surprised me because he was digging out. You could see where he pushed the gravel out when he took off up the hill. Usually when they're walking up the hill, they're a lot more careful about leaving their tracks. And one of the interesting things I've seen them do, especially on steep slopes, remember, we're talking about them having that mid-tarsal joint in their foot. They have incredibly strong toes. And they will use their toes like pitons and dig them into the edge of the hill and make their own step with their foot. Unless it's granite or something, they seem to be able to do this, because I've found several examples of this. And I looked at it and went, is this a bear track? And first of all, it's too wide. And secondly, there's no claw marks. And then you can see part of the divergence in the size of the toes and stuff. Bear toes are all the same size. They don't have a divergent hallux. They don't have a big toe. So that's another dead giveaway. And another example of this that I just found recently was Sunday the 17th. Shayna Kozak, big shout out to her. She's a follower of my channel. She was up here on vacation in Montana. She lives in Oklahoma. She had one day left on her vacation before she had to fly back. And she got a hold of me and went, hey, do you have any time to go out and look for Bigfoot? Is there something nearby? And I went, yeah, come on, let's go. So here we go back to the ghost town of Coloma again. So we're up there where I had been a month before with my buddies. We had left some goodies for them. We went and checked that area. All goodies gone, but all wrappers still there, including the peanut butter containers and the lids. They're there. Everything's gone. The only thing they didn't take was the garlic. They just left that. So we gathered up all the debris and all, yeah, exactly. The ones that live in swampy areas where there's mosquitoes, they love garlic because they smear the juice on their hair. It keeps the bugs off of them. They don't eat it. They use it for bug repellent. They love that. But there's no mosquitoes up here. It's on top of a mountain. So they just ignored that and went, give me all the food. Ate everything. Left all the remains there. So we're driving around. She's got a 4-wheel drive truck. So we could go down these logging trails below the ghost town that are usually inaccessible unless you got some really high clearance vehicle and go slow. You can't get in there. So we went down and explored those. And as we were on our way back, we're going around this curve. And on the right-hand side, there's this really steep mountainside. There's this game trail. And as we're going past, I go, hold on. I've never seen a game trail that torn up before. I bet you anything I'll find a Bigfoot track on it. She goes, do you want to stop? And I go, we got like 10 minutes and we absolutely have to leave so we can make it to town in time for my show to premiere. So yeah, let's walk up the trail a little bit and see if we find anything. I take 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, there's an 18-inch track. 2 more steps, there's another 18-inch track. 2 more steps, there's another 18-inch track. Well, Shayna's pretty happy because she's seeing Bigfoot tracks, and she spent all the time and effort driving out in the woods with me in the hopes that we would find something. There it is. We ran out of time to go up that hillside as far as those tracks went. We don't know how far they went. We filmed a bunch of clips of it. And the interesting thing was that apparently this was like a big game trail that's been there for years. And there's a farmer rancher that has high altitude cattle up there grazing now. So they're using it as a cow path. And anybody that knows about cow paths, they're beaten as hard as concrete from the weight of these animals going up and down them all the time. That's right. It showed the evidence of that. The only tracks you could see on it other than cow tracks were on the edge of it where some large sized deer and some elk had walked off toward the edge of the path. You could see their imprints and stuff too. We're going right down the middle of this track. Here's these ginormous prints. And apparently what was going on is it's a fairly steep angle. And when he ran down the hillside, and I say ran because the distance between some of these steps is huge, he was sliding. It either was raining or it had just rained, and he was in a hurry. And every time he put down his foot, it slid between 4 inches and a foot before he dug his toes into the cow path to stop his, I'm guessing, about 1,000 pounds from sliding down the hill any further. Every single step shows this, where he slid, somehow managed to dig his toes into this cow path and stop dead. There's craters going down it where his toes dug in. And he never completely laid his foot down flat. If he did, we couldn't find the heel mark. So the only reason we know how long his tracks are is because common rule with Bigfoot tracks is that the width of the track at the front of the foot behind where the toes is at the widest point there, if you just double that, that's the length of the track. Always, 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 always. So if it's 9 inches across the front, which these ones were, then you have an 18-inch track. And there was no there was no quadrupedal motion going on here. It was running on hind legs. Absolutely wasn't a bear. And also double checking on it, there was no any evidence whatsoever of claw marks. So this is just a big male adult Bigfoot, 18-inch track, probably around 1,000 pounds, big hurry running down the cow path, digging his toes into the trail. And that's in that Coloma video that I sent to you, Jimmy. That's right at the end of it where I filmed that.
Now, here's what's funny. You would expect the chat tonight to be talking about either donations or Bigfoot. Instead, it's breakfast for dinner is the conversation tonight in the chat. And Lisa just said, I love breakfast for dinner. Damn, now I want biscuits and gravy and hash browns. And now so do I. And that's what I'm going to do. But it's the only thing that is going to take the pain away from my wallet is breakfast for dinner. So thinking about that. But what about... I love breakfast for dinner. Actually, I think breakfast should be served 3 times a day.
See, what they're doing is they're picking on Dave Scott because that's one of his pet peeves is people that eat breakfast for dinner. And so, you know, that makes him have a conniption.
Why?
I mean, I don't know. He's got to think about it. Oh. He doesn't like the word Squatch either, Jimmy.
Oh. You know what I love? Squatch and eggs. That's what Squatch and eggs. And hold on a minute here. Did we just get okay, we got another
Tito, thank you.
And another so we just got let's see here. Jeffrey White Bear came in. Thank you for that, Jeffrey. Sherman Callahan.
Did he?
And Sherman, you're the absolute very best. Let's see. Hold on. Now I got to keep up. Okay, man.
Thanks, Sherman.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Sherman. So that's fine. That's another 20. See, this is the thing. I can't buy food for my dogs now. That's it. My dogs are going to starve. My kids aren't going to be able to have lunch at school. This is. I'm making all of this up. This is awesome. Cause me more pain. La Vera just came in. Okay, so I guess everybody just wants to make sure that they get a really good laugh at the end of the show, knowing, hold on a minute, look at this. Okay, so there's La Vera, and thank you, La Vera. Stacy just came in with another 20.
Thank you guys so much. Thanks, La Vera. Thanks, Stacy.
This is just incredible. And just make sure. I want everybody to make sure that the last thing that I think about is how broke I am. Right up to the end of the show. Just keep it going. Just keep it going. All right. And this is amazing. I'm going to match dollar for dollar tonight. I wanted to, okay. I've been trying to get Pat. Okay. By the way, here's my show notes for the show. Okay. It's all dollars. It's all dollars, all the way down. Dollars. And then I got one question in. Skeletons. That's all I got. The rest of it is at my show notes tonight, everybody. The pain is but what about, okay, so all of these photographs and images of giant skeletons, giants in America, all over the country, there is a lot of this. Could that be what I've been complaining about, right? Could it be what I've been complaining about, that there hasn't been a skeleton or a body or a corpse? Lisa Davey, thank you, Lisa. You make it's all gravy. Breakfast for dinner. Thank you, Lisa. And man, I'm going to need a second page of show notes with dollars on it.
Thanks for running the telethon, Jimmy. And don't you guys forget about River Moon coffee. It's so delicious. And Jimmy really wants you to sample some to help him recoup the losses on this.
Yeah, well, because I can't afford coffee anymore either. And thank goodness River Moon keeps me supplied. But what about the giants in America, these skeletons? Is this what I've been complaining about?
Well, there's a strong parallel there, Jimmy, because if you go look at the book Ancient Giants Who Ruled America by Dewhurst, he shows 150 pages of newspaper articles from the turn of previous century, not 21st, but 20th, and back slightly before that, where they were finding giant skeletons all over the place, digging them up, photographing them, had all kinds of information about how big they were, et cetera, pictures, like I said, photographs, drawings, et cetera, 150 pages of it. And he could have made this thing way longer. It was just all, as an example. And every single one of them ended with, well, at that point, the wonderful people from the Smithsonian showed up to take the remains away for further study. And then they disappeared, never to be seen again. Did they burn them in an incinerator, throw them in the ocean, lose them in one of those big crates in the same warehouse that has the Holy Grail and the Ark of the Covenant in? We don't know. We don't know where they went because they lost track of them. They won't talk about it. And some of the stuff that was giant related that was on display for a long time is either mysteriously gone missing, or they've somehow managed to get claim on it and haul it away for further study. So in as much as we can pretty much make an incredibly strong case that that's been going on for a long time, why wouldn't the powers that be also want to remove any physical evidence of these other giants that aren't just skeletons in the ground? They're still running around. That's even more problematic than giant bones, right? Because if you look at the fossil record, Homo denisovans, which they've recently cataloged, what they don't really talk about with these guys is that their skeletons are gigantic too. They're like 7 to 9 feet tall. Okay. And they'll tell you there's no such thing as giants, and we don't have giant skeletons, and all that biblical stuff is hooey. But look, we've got Homo denisovans that looks like a giant, and he's 9 feet tall.
Recently discovered, by the way.
Yeah. Yep, very recently. The other interesting part of this is the Russian teams that are doing the research on it. They found a cave where apparently the Denisovan and the Neanderthal were living together for thousands of years, and some of them had actually inbred. I think it's subject number 11 has got the crossbred DNA on it. Right. So the older Earth was a lot more like Lord of the Rings, where there was different races running around and inbreeding with each other and whatnot. And it may just be that the Sasquatch are the only ones that were wily enough to survive, everybody fighting with each other. And we may have been prime reason why some of these guys died off.
Duke, thank you for this show tonight. I learned so much. And hold on a minute. Adam Bicycle just came in. Is that?
Oh my God!
I can't read that correctly. Can you read that?
Yes, sir. It says $99.99.
Oh, ooh, ow, ooh, ow, ooh, ouch.
Man, there's smoke coming up out of Jimmy's wallet again.
Ouch, oof, the pain. Like I said, you guys want to make sure that the last thing that is burned into my retinas is debt. You guys are the best. Thank you for that. And Adam, you are absolutely amazing. Everybody else that contributed tonight, Duke, we all want you to get out there and continuing your research. I learned so much tonight, and you've been on the show many, many times with us, and your knowledge and the way that you share it with all of us, it's second to none. And also, I want to thank you for tomorrow night. William Lunsford is going to be with us, and that is courtesy of Duke. Duke, thank you so much. World Bigfoot Radio. Now, you're going to be on with Dave Scott here in just a few minutes, but World Bigfoot Radio, do you do that once a week, every night? When do you
Sundays at 8 Central generally, and sometimes I release short subjects during the week. I did that twice this week, one with the Sasquatch footage from up in Alaska, and the other one with my own follow-up video on Coloma, where we got the 2 cryptids filmed from camp. And the trackway of prints I was just talking about with Jimmy is also on that video. But generally, it's just one show a week, and you can find it not only on YouTube, but BitChute, Rumble, and Odyssey also carry my show. And I have support groups on MeWe and on Facebook, Montana Bigfoot Project on Facebook, and World Bigfoot Central on MeWe. So fairly easy to get in touch with. Thank you guys so much for all the help. And let me tell you, if you enjoyed this show, you want to be here tomorrow. William Lunsford is absolutely amazing. He's been doing field research exactly as long as I have. He researches the area where the movie The Legend of Boggy Creek emanated from, the land of the Falk Monster. He is the Falk Monster hunter. Been on my show many times, has tons of evidence, and he's just getting ready to come on my show again here shortly and show all the new evidence he just got over the last 6 months. So this guy is absolutely amazing.
Thank you for Squatch Week this week, Duke. It's all on your shoulders. You're the absolute very best. And thank you to everybody that helped Duke out tonight. And it is my pleasure to match dollar for dollar. And I feel like Jerry Lewis and things. It's just a wonderful feeling that I have. And it's just my little, small part of helping this community out in the way that we absolutely are a family. And so, Duke, thank you. I learned so much tonight. I'm still on the fence.
Well, come out with me, and you won't be anymore. Eric is where you were at last year.
Yeah, no, not on the fence about that. On the fence of trying to, every time I think I've got it resolved, like I'm going into a direction and I feel pretty good, I get pulled into another direction. And I don't know. That's when I say I'm on the fence, that's it. So I don't know. Maybe it is just a combination of both, and it's just that we need to learn more, that we don't totally understand what is going on. And one day we're going to find out, Duke, and it's going to be with your help.
That's what makes you a great researcher, Jimmy, though, because you are skeptical enough to take a look at all the evidence before you make up your mind about it. And people have been telling me about the woo for like 20 years. And it's only the last 3 or 4 where I absolutely went, yep, I'm seeing evidence of it. We're getting weird things on camera. We're seeing examples in real life while we're there. This stuff is real.
Well, there it is. Lavira wanted to make sure that the last thing that I see tonight is another donation. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, Duke, tell Dave I said hello. He's the absolute very best. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Okay.
Right on. Give me a call, brother. Thank you so much. Thanks to everybody that donated. Love you guys.
Duke Sullivan. Now the links for Duke are right here in social media. I've got them in the show links below. And thank you for all of the donations tonight. Bill, what was the final total? Let's see if we can get it in before the end of the show. Bill, give me the final tally. What is it? Give me the final tally. I want to see it right now. Fade to black. Tomorrow night, William Lunsford. $2,116 is the bottom line. $2,116. Absolutely incredible. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you, everybody. What a great show tonight. Duke Sullivan, the very best World Bigfoot Radio. Fade to Black is produced by Hill J. Palm, Renee, Dennis, and Kevin. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vitoa, Mark D. Kovar. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy. SpaceboyMusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJ Sierra for the Game Changer Network. And this broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2022 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network, Inc. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tomorrow night, Squatch Week, Night 3, William Lunsford. Until then, I want everybody to be safe. Go Beckley Teppy.